Okay, good morning. We are just about to call this meeting to order. The time is 9:30 and I am calling the May 30th, 2025 panel meeting to order. Can I pass over to staff for housekeeping and then roll call?
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending the May 2025 panel meeting. Before we begin, there are a few housekeeping announcements. If you are here in the hearing room and in order to avoid a persistent disruption of the proceedings, please do not stream through your mobile device or connect to the Zoom platform as it will interfere with our recording and sound system. If you are attending the meeting in person and presenting or providing comment, please step up to the podium and speak clearly and directly into the microphone. For those who are viewing or attending the meeting virtually and would like to make a public comment, please use the raised hand feature and wait for your name to be called, at which time you'll be unmuted. When providing comment in person or online, please speak clearly, state your name, title, and the company you are representing, and you will be given 3 minutes to speak. Lastly, to ensure a respectful and professional environment, please keep side conversations to a minimum while inside the hearing room. If you need to have a discussion, kindly step outside to avoid disrupting the meeting. We will now proceed with roll call. Everybody can hear me just okay, by the way? Perfect. Douglas Tracy.
Present.
Jennifer Fothergill. Mike Hill.
Present.
Gretchen Newsom.
Present.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Present.
Ricky Smiles.
Present.
Mike Greenlee.
Present.
Derek Kirk.
Present.
Chair Betancourt. We have 8 members present. We have a quorum. Also present, Jessica Grimes, Executive Director, Peter Cooper, Assistant Director and Senior Advisor, Kumani Armstrong, Assistant Director and Chief Counsel, Tara Armstrong, Deputy Director of Technology, absent, and Laura Campbell, Chief Program Operations. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we are going to move swiftly into some normal motions. So we're looking for an approval of this May's panel meeting agenda or any amendments anyone wants to make.
So moved. Nothing on consent.
Second.
Thank you. Can I have a roll call vote, please?
Aye.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right, and I better just check there's no public comment on the agenda. Nope, we're good. Just realized before we do that, so that's all good. And now we're going to do approval of last month's panel meeting minutes, which is the April panel meeting. Does any member wish to make any corrections to April's panel meeting minutes?
I do. I'd like to make a motion to approve the April minutes with the following corrections or amendments. On page 10 of 14, to state the correct reimbursement rate for computer-based training is $11 an hour, not $100 an hour. And amend page 14 of 14 to accurately reflect it was Chair Betancourt that adjourned the meeting.
Oh, I like how I didn't adjourn.
Yes.
Second.
Second, thanks. Any public comment on those agenda amendments or agenda amendments? Meeting minutes, all those amendments to those meeting minutes?
There are no public comments online.
And none in the room, so we will move to vote.
Douglas Tracy. Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right, thank you. I am going to pass the baton over to executive reports.
Thank you, Chair Betancourt. Good morning and happy Friday, everyone. It is good to see all of you here. Welcome to another amazing panel meeting. As this is our last meeting for the state fiscal year, I'd like to start by first thanking the hardworking staff at ETP, as well as the contractors that train thousands of workers every year. Together, we form an invaluable ecosystem that works for all of California. I am proud to state that ETP is making a difference across the state, so I'd like to provide you with a quick snapshot of the accomplishments ETP has achieved this year. As of May 2025, ETP has approved a total of 232 proposals valued at $72 million. Collectively, these proposals benefit over 50,000 trainees. Since July 2024, thousands of Californians have completed ETP-funded training and secured full-time employment in roles utilizing their new skills. ETP has put in great effort to support those who need assistance the most, so I want to make special mention of the 32 approved proposals targeting high unemployment areas. As a result, around 3,500 trainees have been approved under this program, and the funding allocated to HUAS totals $4.8 million. Additionally, our staff put out another round of seed funding called Seed 2.5 that provided $1 million to 5 grantees in support of the entrepreneurship of immigrants and limited English proficient individuals. We also successfully dispersed $1 million in paid family leave and partnered with the California Energy Commission to provide $2.7 million in funding to support electrical vehicle infrastructure training and certification. These initiatives and projects are just a few examples of how ETP has made a significant impact across various industries statewide. It's been a year of meaningful progress, and we're excited to continue producing positive outcomes for California's workforce. Now, for our final panel for this fiscal year, we have 32 proposals. If approved, ETP will award approximately $9.5 million. Other quick stats: 69% are from repeat contractors, 50% fall within the priority industry sector of manufacturing. 28% represent small businesses, and 31% originate from high unemployment areas. In addition to the proposals coming forward for approval, I would like to highlight a proposed amendment for Butte Glen Community College District. Butte's work is crucial in the current moment as it corresponds to the governor's climate and clean energy goals. If approved, this amendment will aid this district's effort to provide a rapid workforce response for utility arborist companies that play a critical role in California's biomass, wildfire mitigation, and clean energy goals. Also, I want to remind everyone that today's panel packet features 2 proposal formats. There's a reason for that. The applications received before January 1st, 2025 follow the former proposal template, and those received on or after January 1st, 2025 are in compliance with SB 1321, which became effective January 1st, 2025. Today's proposals will be presented for review and action by Heather Miguel. Also on today's agenda are a series of important presentations. Elizabeth Testa will start by presenting 2 items for the panel's consideration: proposed revisions to the veteran guidelines and separately revisions to the ex-offender and at-risk youth guidelines. Following Elizabeth's presentation, Laura Campbell and Ilya Lonitz will provide an update on 2 of ETP's current alternative funding initiatives: the Workforce Literacy Pilot Program and the Healthcare Workforce Advancement Fund. Our last presentation will be Nancy Tran from ETP's Data Analytics Unit. She will present an update on ETP's annual report and the strategic plan. And now, for the continuation of the executive report, we have the following presenters: a legislative update from our legal unit, Kumani Armstrong, and a fiscal update from Laura Campbell. That concludes my portion of the executive report, so I will hand it over to Kumani. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Grimes, and good morning, panel members. In your panel packet, you will find a copy of our current legislation memorandum, and there are several bills that we are tracking. I'm going to keep my presentation today brief and focus on 3, bring to your attention. We are currently in year 1 of the 2025-26 legislative session, with June 6th of this year being the next significant legislative deadline, which is the last day for each house to pass bills introduced in that house. I want to first bring to your attention AB 765, and that's at the bottom of page 3 of the memo. And this bill would prohibit monies in the Employment Training Fund from being diverted, transferred, or otherwise used to pay interest charged on federal loans or related liabilities without the approval of the legislature by statute, and also requires a public report justifying the necessity for any kind of diversion, transfer, or use. On April 3rd, this bill was resubmitted to the Committee on Insurance, and currently we cannot speculate on its status, but ETP always remains neutral at this time, but we will continue to track it and monitor it for you. The second bill is Assembly Bill 1186, and that's towards the bottom of page 5 of the memorandum. That makes amendments to the government code by expanding and/or clarifying data collection categories regarding race and ethnicity. And also it establishes a new chief statistician position in California. And we're tracking that, and we will advise our IT personnel if anything needs to change regarding our systems and how ETP collects its demographic information. And on May 23rd, that bill was held under submission in committee. The last bill I want to point out is Senate Bill 470. That also makes amendments to the government code. And that bill, it extends the Bagley-Keene provisions regarding teleconference public meetings. So the extension would be from January 1 of 2026 to January 1 of 2030. We're again monitoring that bill. On the 29th of April, it was ordered for a third reading, and we'll continue to keep progress on that. If there are any questions, okay, I'll pass to the next person. Thank you.
Good morning and welcome panel members and stakeholders. Thank you for the opportunity to provide a summary of the Employment Training Panel's funding. Regarding funding, today's panel meeting is for approximately $9.5 million. That includes 5 approved delegation orders for a total of $214,032. Delegation orders are proposals capped at $75,000 and approved under delegated authority by the director on a continuous flow basis. For this state fiscal year, ETP has approved a total of 34 delegation orders. If all the proposals scheduled for this panel meeting are funded today, the panel will approve 32 projects. Regarding demand, we have 225 applications in demand. 107 applications are currently in development with the regional offices. 28 applications are under review by the Application and Assessment Unit, and 90 submitted applications are pending review. The estimated value of 225 applications is $119.4 million and breaks down as follows. $31.8 million in demand for single employer contracts, $13.6 million in demand for small business, $73.6 million in demand for multiple employer contractors, $394,800 in demand for apprenticeships. Regarding allocations, we are currently within our total allocation for state fiscal year 24-25. Thank you, and I would like to hand it back to you, Madam Chair, for the next topic on the agenda.
Thank you. I think I'm passing the ball back to you guys because aren't we going to proposals? Yeah.
We are.
I had a moment.
Okay, buckle up. You guys got me all meeting. Maybe Willie, we'll see. Okay. Panel members, please turn to tab 1 for Collins Electrical Company, Inc.
So I need to recuse myself, but can I make an opening statement for things? Okay. Not pertaining to this one because I am going to walk out, but in general, we are all in a growing period right now to become accustomed with our new questions pertaining to Senate Bill 1321. New questions pertaining to wage progression and fringe benefits. I'll note that some of our contractors meet a gold standard for me by providing quantifiable data on wage progression and fringe benefits, both by the actual amount or the percentage of these items. Others have input NA or non-applicable. This is not satisfactory to myself, but we are going through a growing period, so you can expect me to be asking some of our contractors and employers questions pertaining to that. And with that, I will now exit the room.
I too need to recuse myself.
Alrighty. We'll remember to come and get you guys.
Are they really gone?
The door's closed.
I think those are the rules. I'm just trying to
I know,
follow
the
the
door is
rules.
closed. I didn't hear it loud,
Good.
so you're all right.
They can't hear anything. Okay, tab 1 is a proposal from Collins Electrical Company, Inc. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $590,632 to train a total of 398 workers. Training will take place at the California locations in Stockton, Modesto, Fresno, Livermore, Marina, and West Sacramento. Representatives from Collins Electric are here to answer any questions.
Good morning, panel. My name is Susan Rodriguez, HR Director for Collins Electrical Company, and I'd like to thank the panel members for considering our project today.
Thank you. Does anyone on the panel have any questions on this proposal?
I have a comment.
Go ahead, Mike.
Welcome, Susan, to the panel. And this comment applies to other contractors, so because you're the first, I'll point it out. In your project details in the application, it states that you're focused on EV charging, lean construction, production tracking software, and estimating capability. Yet when I look at your extensive list and Exhibit B on your curriculum, it's hard for me to see where those show up. So I have to make some interpretations, like maybe it's SAP training or something. But I'd like to see it specifically called out in your list what you're focused on.
Are you asking a question?
No, I'm making a comment.
Oh, okay.
I'm making a comment not only for you, but others. So when you're describing the project details, which is what your focus is, I'd like to see that show up in your curriculum list. That's the bottom line.
You just like to see the curriculum mirroring what people are saying rather than sort of like a regurgitated list of, yep, okay,
Not
makes
just
sense.
a copy and paste from a previous application.
That's also good feedback for us as staff. Panel member Hilso will take that as well. Thank you.
Any questions on the project at all or the curriculum? You want any clarification? Just checking. Okay. Any other questions from panel? Do I hear a motion?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I noticed you have for your managers and supervisors, you have a 16% turnover rate. Can you kind of speak to that? Why that's so high?
I think that's the total number being trained,
Mhm.
16% of the.
Yeah.
count.
That's the
Oh,
percentage,
okay,
the,
gotcha, gotcha,
turnover
okay.
rate.
yeah, the total percentage of managers.
Perfect, thank you.
It's all right. It's always a throw digit that. It always catches every time. And then you're like, no, that's the percentage of those because it's right below. We always see it
Yeah.
right below the turnover rate. So you're always like, which way? Okay. Any other questions?
Motion to approve Collins Electrical Company, Inc., contract number ET 25-0281.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have any public comments on this proposal?
There are no public comments online.
And the room is not moving, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Bancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk. Aye.
Yep, you could get them. Okay, so the motion is all approved by all, so it's adopted and you're funded.
Thank
Madam
you.
Chair.
You,
Madam Chair, in the motion,
did you need to?
it's come to my attention that we didn't post the amount.
Yeah.
So,
Do you want us to redo?
yes.
Okay, we'll go through the whole motion again. So motion and then we'll go to vote to make sure we're clear. Oh, hang on, we need to send back. Don't ask. Rick was eager. We're warming up. We're warming up.
Okay, motion to approve Collins
Access.
Electrical Company, Inc., contract number ET 25-0281, and the proposed funding amount of $590,632.
Second.
Public comment on that one?
There are no public comments online.
So we'll move to vote.
Douglas Tracy. Aye. Mike Hill.
Aye.
Rebecca Bancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk. Aye.
All right, so you are funded for that amount.
Thank you.
Thank you for the patience as we warm up. You'd think it's been longer than a month since we've been together. We can now bring the others back. It's good. You just imagine what we're going to be like in July when we haven't been together for a month. You know. We were having to do motion 101 and remember what we needed in our motions. It's you know, it's the end of the month. We're all feeling it, I think.
I think because panel member Newsom wasn't here to keep us in order, we.
But he's usually so good. I'm not pointing fingers. I'm not pointing.
It's that summer panel, right? Okay, panel members, please turn to tab 2. This is a proposal for ESL Power Systems, Inc. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $103,040 to train a total of 92 workers. Training will take place at the company's facility in Corona. And here, representing ESL Power Systems, our company representatives.
Hi, good morning. My name is Zivat Leva. I'm the HR manager for ESL Power Systems in Corona, California.
Good morning. Does anyone have any questions? You have one? Go ahead.
I'm back.
You're back.
Okay, this is one of the applications that I was referencing earlier where you put under fringe benefits and wage progression non-applicable. If you can speak to that and put into the record what your actual fringe benefits are for the workers being trained and what your wage progression looks like by monetary amount or percentage.
Okay. So fringe benefits, we're an employee-owned company, so that obviously every employee gets shares. We have, in addition to that, our 401k dollar for dollar match up to 3%. 50 cents up to 5%. Also, wage progression, we have, our entry-level assemblers coming in. They start at, let's say, $23 an hour, depending on the department they work in. Depending on the skill level, there is Assembly 2, Assembly 3, Assembler 4s, and we are in the process of developing an Assembler 5 position where it could be anywhere from $2 to $3. On average, it's about a 4 to 5% per year increase. Yeah, I think that's it.
What about healthcare?
Healthcare. We have Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield. We offer 5 different options of coverage. We also offer dental, 2 different plans, vision as well. We offer free long-term disability, free life insurance up to $550,000, excuse me. Yeah, and then we do several different programs on site for recognition, Costco reimbursement, flu shots, all that good stuff. Tuition reimbursement as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much for putting that into the record. Yes. And for consultants out there, listen up. That's what I'm looking for in writing.
Member Newsom, just for your benefit, a lot of these applications were submitted long before the new legislation, and so it's not any, I don't think, fault of ours. It's just
no. It looked like with this one that this one is in the proper pipeline to have to meet the self-attestations and then these items as well. So you did do the self-attestations at the very end. Thank you very much for that. But this is the kind of information that I'm looking for in the going. And then for the rest of the audience, there will be a few, like you said, that are not in that pipeline yet that are ripe for this kind of level of questioning. Those are coming down the right. So thank you for this. Appreciate it.
We will get it right in the future, I promise.
Yes, we are all going to grow together.
Learning curve. We're in a learning curve.
Thank you.
We will get there. Okay. Any other questions? I did have one, and maybe it's because I was reading the proposal almost to Mike's comment about curriculum. Your project proposal talks about, it contradicts itself in the project details. It states Dozuki system implementation, that you're going to do a Dozuki system implementation. I know Dozuki well. It then says further down that you're moving from Dozuki to SharePoint. I'm just curious what is actually, because then when I look at curriculum, I'm not necessarily seeing it clear in the curriculum list either. So I'm just like, we're putting it in the project details. What are we actually doing? Are we switching over from SharePoint to Dozuki, or are we going away from Dozuki, going back to SharePoint?
We're going from Dozuki to SharePoint.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So, yeah, I think just when I read that project proposal, it was a bit contradictory of itself. So I was like, okay. And there is a bit of SharePoint training in there, so that's okay.
Yeah, and just to build on that from a previous comment, I saw reference to what's called Q module and Mill C receptacle, but I don't see that in the training list.
Okay.
Yeah. I know they're lengthy applications and we're working on some of those pieces as well of like where there's duplication and stuff, but it's just that kind of tightness for us. Okay, any other questions for this proposal?
Motion to approve ESL Power Systems, Inc., ETP contract number 25-0291 in the amount of $103,040.
Second.
Thank you. Do I have any public comments?
There are no public comments online.
And there looks like there's none in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy. Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Becca Bettencourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Hurt. Aye.
All right, so we're all in approval. That means you are funded. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, panel members, please turn to tab 3. We have a proposal for La Tapatia Tortilleria. I'm so sorry, Inc. They are requesting $171,808 in funding to train a total of 118 workers. Training will take place at the company's 2 locations in Fresno and McClellan Park. There is a correction to the training plan on page 2. The post-retention wage in the training plan table lists $16.50, but the actual post-retention wage for this project will be $17.67. Representatives from the company are here to answer any questions.
Good morning. My name is Carla Monis, and I'm the Human Resource Director for La Tapatia. I would like to thank the ETP and you, the panel members, for offering this valuable program to California manufacturers and food processors. It has helped us tremendously in the past.
Thank you and good morning. So does any panel member have questions?
Similar to the last line of questioning, you didn't put non-applicable, thank you. But you also didn't put like what the actual wage progression might be expected on an annual basis by either percentage or amount. And then also what the fringe benefits look like in an amount of, how much is the employer paying toward fringe benefits and what are they? And if there's any cost to the employee, I'm always interested in that. And I'm primarily interested in the operations staff that has the wage range of $16.50 to $40 an hour.
Okay. Our strategy for wage progression involves a combination of performance-based raises, increases, skill development, proactive communication, ensuring employees understand the expectations and have opportunities for growth. The company promotes from within, giving employees great opportunity for upward mobility. Regarding performance-based evaluations, they're done annually at the scheduled employee's date of hire. And once the employee reaches the first year of employment, the evaluation is sent to the manager, returned to human resources for review, and the manager's increase recommendations are entered. They could be from 3 to 5% or more. In addition, but that's the average. In addition, we do annual raises. In addition to the annual raises, we also give performance-based raises within the year. And the recommendations are made by the employee's immediate supervisor. So the maximum length between raises is 1 year. However, if an employee is promoted or recommended for a skill that they've learned during the year, they can earn a performance raise before 1 year.
Fringe benefits.
And the fringe benefits. We offer medical, dental, and vision insurance. We offer the 401k retirement program. We also offer free telehealth through Amaze, free life insurance, free accident insurance if they're hurt off the job, free critical illness insurance. We offer the 2 weeks paid vacation is our average. We also offer on average, the average employee is 1 week of sick leave. The medical insurance employer contribution is $12,400 per year for the average employee with 2 dependents. And the contribution by the employer for the average employee for dental is $275 a year. For vision, the average contribution contribution for the employer is $125 per year for vision, and the average contribution for free telehealth, free life insurance, free critical illness insurance, free accident insurance is $1,000.
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay,
Thank you very, very much.
thank you.
I did have another question. I'm sorry. This one kind of jumped out at me late at night. I tend to review my panel packet at 2 a.m. So different things jump out at 2 a.m. And you were referencing the implementation of AI software to, quote, help enhance production efficiency by monitoring production lines and collect sensors and historical data. It sounds a little bit like you're monitoring the productivity of your staff and workers using AI. And I just want to make sure that the workers have a voice in how that process is being implemented. And this is a very big deal in the Capitol next door of like what that looks like for the workers right now, making sure that they're not being monitored when they get their breaks in the bathroom,
Oh, no.
things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, this is actually monitoring our production equipment because some of it is older. And so it's a preventative maintenance program for our maintenance team. And it monitors like when belts need to be replaced, when bearings need to be replaced. And it also will tell us like this this is likely to go out. And so it helps us with our downtime because for our older equipment,
Gotcha. So
that
monitoring the equipment, not the people power.
no,
and
not
their
the
production.
people at all.
Thank you.
No, just the equipment.
Thank you.
We're going to start putting microchips in people just to see, you know. I know, there is a bit of that, but some don't have devices because of things. So, you know, the microchip time. All right. Any other questions?
Motion to approve La Tapatia Tortilleria, Inc., ET number 25-0279, in the amount of $171,808.
Do I have a
Second.
second?
Giving other people an opportunity.
I'm running at count on packet 3. All right. Any public comments?
There are no public comments online.
It doesn't look like in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy. Aye. Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
And Derek Kirk. Aye. Want to give a friendly reminder as well for those speaking at the podium. Just make sure you speak clearly into the microphone. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are all in favor. So the motion is adopted and you are funded. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, panel members, we're on tab 4. This is a proposal for San Marino Gardens Wellness Center, LP, DBA, Pasadena Park Healthcare. They are a Respond project. This is in response to the wildfires in Southern California earlier this year. They are a new contractor requesting $604,800 to train a total of 270 workers. Training will take place at the company's facility in Pasadena, as well as 3 affiliate facilities: the Four Seasons Healthcare in North Hollywood, York Healthcare and Wellness in Highland, and Montecito Health and Wellness Center in Los Angeles. And representatives from the company are here to answer any questions.
Good morning, members, and thank you for hearing our proposal. My name is Lisa, and I am the administrator from Pasadena Park. I am here because we need funding for training new staff.
Tell them about
The fire.
Yeah, I can hear you.
The experience we went through was very, very traumatic. The 80 miles per hour winds and getting and evacuating 93 of our residents out of our building was a lot. And sorry. Sorry, you're doing fine. You're doing fine. After we evacuated, we also had next door a 4-story assisted living that burned to the ground. And those residents, after evacuating all of our residents, we helped evacuate them. And so we just really want to get back to our facility and build back up and get our residents and our staff back in there and trained and new staff that we're going to need. So that's why we're here and we're proposing to be funded.
Thank you. I will say, being very close to a lot of the fires on the North Coast with a lot of our employees, I know where the emotion's coming from. We have a lot who were displaced during the North Coast fires. So knowing what was happening down south, we all very much felt it. And we have many employees who live on, I'm going to say, eggshells at times when the winds happen.
Right.
So I understand where that's coming from because I've seen it in employees many a times. It's a hard piece. Any questions from the panel on this?
Just want to say thank you for answering the fringe benefits and the wage progression. Jill, it's great to see you again. And I also appreciate the higher wages as well. So thank you for that.
I had a question for staff, and it's very logistical. You have a number of employees, but the trainees are higher, including the affiliates. And then in another proposal with affiliates, we have, I think, the full number of employees. So I don't know which is the right number. So when we look at
As far as full-time employees listed in the proposal, yes, this one
Yeah.
includes only the full-time employees for Pasadena Park Healthcare. We will check in on that and make sure it's correct moving.
Yeah, because the other one with affiliates it shows 5,000 employees, which I guess is with the 13 affiliates later.
Yeah, so
Versus
that's why.
here where I can see there's because I suddenly saw a discrepancy and I'm like, and then I reread and I was like, that's because we're doing affiliates. So I didn't know what the right number was, but it makes perfect sense in everything that they're doing. Any further questions on the proposal? No?
We have a motion to approve San Marino Gardens Wellness Center, LP DBA Pasadena Park Health, and an ETP funding amount of $604,800.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comments on the proposal?
There are no public comments online.
I don't see anyone in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Becca Bettencourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk. Aye.
All right, so we were all in favor. The motion's adopted and good luck with it.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Okay, our next proposal is on tab 5. This is a proposal for Senior Operations LLC, DBA Senior Aerospace SSP, a division of Senior Operations LLC. They are a new contractor requesting $479,668 to train a total of 463 workers. Training will take place at their location in Burbank, and representatives from the company are here to answer any questions.
Good morning, panel. My name is Lisa Buckland. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources for Senior Aerospace. Thank you so much for hearing our proposal, and I'm here to answer any questions you have on our project.
Thank you. Does anyone have questions on the proposal?
Hi there. I noticed that your turnover rate is about 18%, which is a little bit high. So can you explain that? Are other companies within your sector experiencing the same type of turnover? Or is yours unique? Can you just explain that higher turnover rate?
Yeah, I think within aerospace, that's not unique to our business, but within aerospace, we did experience a lot of turnover. We're still reeling from some of the effects of COVID and the Great Resignation. So we lost a lot of talent, and just trying to get that talent back. In some cases, it may not be a fit. And we're really working hard to develop our employees to continue so we can ensure we retain our employees. So again, back in 2024, a lot of it was just not a good fit.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Motion to approve Senior Operations LLC, DBA Senior Aerospace SSP, ET contract number ET 25-0267 in the amount of $479,668.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment on this proposal?
There are no public comments online.
And none in the room. We shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Becca Bettencourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk. Aye.
All righty, so we voted. We're in favor. The motion's adopted. You're funded. Good luck with it.
On behalf of the Senior Aerospace team, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, panel members, the next project is the Brownie Baker on tab 8. there is a correction to the turnover rate. It's currently listed on the panel proposal at 12%. We received word yesterday that is actually at 9%. They are a repeat contractor requesting $87,696 in funding to train a total of 108 workers. Training will take place at 2 locations, the 2 locations in Fresno, and the representatives are here to answer any questions you may have.
Good morning. My name is Terry Recchio. I'm the Director of Human Resources for the Brownie Baker. And on behalf of the Brownie Baker, we want to thank all of you for having us here today and for everything you've done for the ETP. It's helped us tremendously in the past, and we want to just continue our progress with it in the future.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone on this?
I'd like to discuss wage progression, please.
Okay.
And I'm very interested in the production staff specifically. There's
Okay.
a large chunk of them that are under $20 an hour.
Correct.
54 out of 76. I want to
Correct.
hear about their wage progression and when
Okay.
they can anticipate getting above $20 an hour.
You got it. So right now, most of our workers incoming, being a manufacturing facility in the valley, is at the minimum wage. We look at that at the end of, we have a 90-day probation, and we review their performance at that point. And many of the employees are getting increases as long as they've met the goals that have been set aside for them. In addition to that, we do our annual reviews. The reviews are sent out to the first line supervisors who oversee those employees. They are submitted back to HR for approval. At that point, after I look them over, I also give them to our CEO. He's very involved in knowing all the employees and what's going on. So the CEO also reviews all of the reviews and the increase requests before they're approved and given back to the employees. So that's done annually. We have actually quite a few that during the year, the supervisor will come to us and recommend an increase. I've had quite a few that are done at 90 days, like I said. They, depending on what goals they've met, if they've learned another task, if they've learned to run a new machine, anything like that, we will give them the increase at 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, whatever pretty much the supervisor recommends.
Okay. Let's get into estimated approximate percentages or amount of that wage
I
progression.
would say average for the production workers, probably about 5%.
5% annually?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's what I want to see in these proposals.
You got it.
Any other questions? I do have one. So I often look at prior projects, performance. Last time we were slightly under on where we tend to say is good performance from like performance of percentage earned.
Okay.
Can you give us some understanding of how you hope to project further than the percentage earned last time through this contract?
Yes, last year was a little bit of a struggle for us, as you can see with the ETP.
Mhm.
I think this is probably our 7th contract, of which we've hit over 90% every
Mhm.
time.
Yeah.
Last year, our third-party administrator, we had some little bit of struggles with information being turned into them, whether it was training sheets, new hire information, tracking of it. I don't know if there was personal issues going on, but we did have a struggle with that. Because of that, at our monthly senior management meetings, we put the ETP as one of our vitals that we do discuss. So every month at our managers meeting, it's something that we are going over and we are aware of. And so we have switched to a new third-party administrator, and we've already got plans, and the management and senior management is definitely behind it this year to get it back on track to where we were in prior years.
Fantastic. I love the idea of a metric on a scorecard of where they are on ETP at the exact level. I think that's fantastic. All right. Any other questions from anyone?
Motion to, Motion to approve the Brownie Baker Inc. ETP funding amount of $87,696.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comment?
There are no public comments online.
All right. And I don't think we have any in the room because it's Peter walking back in. So that's not a public comment. So I'm all right. Peter, you have me sweating there as I see the door open. All right. So we are going to move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty. So we're all in favor. So the motion is adopted and you're funded. Good luck with it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, panel members, we are on to Wing Inflatables, Inc. This is on tab 7. This is designated as a critical proposal, and this contractor is requesting $313,600 in funding to train a total of 140 workers. Training will take place at the company's location in Arcata, and representatives from the company are here to answer any questions.
Good morning. My name is Dave Havlick, and I'm the CFO of Wig Inflatables, and appreciate all the support we've had in the past.
Fantastic, thank you. Any questions on the proposal for anyone?
Really? You go ahead. Gentlemen
Just a
first.
question about the, if I got it correct, the DOD requirement is for you to add 50 people? Is that correct?
With the amount of new contract work, we need to add 50 people in order
Okay,
to
and
accomplish
so
that.
when you add that amount of people on top of 191 people, that's a significant change in many ways. How do you plan to assimilate those employees over what period of time?
So that period of time is probably 6 to 9 months. So it's not all at once. So it will be staged. We have specific training classes that we put the employees through. So they go not onto the floor, that they will actually go into a classroom setting in order to learn what we do, how we do it, and learn the skills necessary, just because it is a very unique skill to build an inflatable boat, make it hold air. It is much harder than what I initially thought when I came on board a couple of years ago. So it is training class, dedicated trainer, time in the classroom, and then one-on-one training once they reach the floor in order to get the skills necessary in order to do this. Classroom size is about 10 to 15 at a time, 2 to 3 weeks in the classroom before going on the floor and getting the one-on-one training.
So you mentioned one-on-one training. So if you're hiring groups of 10 people, that must be 10 people out of the organization are individually training individuals?
Once they reach the floor, yes. They end up with basically a buddy system once they're on the floor in order to do the work. So yeah.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you know it's coming, but I will say I love all things Arcata and Humboldt. That's where I went to school, so you got gold stars there already. But I do need you to talk to me about wage progression and what that percentage-wise or amount looks like for these workers.
Yeah. So we do have a leveling up system, and so when you're started, you're basically at a level 1, which has a wage range of $18 to $21. And you're receiving a raise after your 90-day to a minimum of $18. And as you level up, you accomplish certain skills. We have a matrix that goes through and says, hey, you've accomplished these skills and proven to the supervisor and the quality that you've accomplished these. And then you will become a level 2 or a level 3. At each of these levels, you receive at least $1 raise.
Okay.
But you can receive annual raises as well. About 2/3 of our people have graduated from a level 1 to a level 2 at the end of 1 year. So they're in the range of $19.50 to typically $21 after 1 year.
Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions?
Just to follow up on that. So these roles, are there just 2 levels or are there more levels than that?
There's a level 1, 2, and 3 in the majority of our people are what we call finishers. And there's 3 levels within that. But you can increase your wage as you get certified in different areas. So if you're a hot air welder, certified in a hot air welder, and you're certified as a finisher, you will get additional pay up on top of that because you're cross-trained.
Thanks.
All right.
Can I just add, I really appreciate the proposal, and I'll just note for the panel and for the public, California consistently is in the top 3 states in the country for DoD spend, and we're maybe a little more competitive than most. So we really love when California companies get DoD contracts and see significant opportunities to increase job counts in our state. I will note, most of the time that DoD spend happens in our major metro and urban areas. And so it's really exciting for our office to see Wing Inflatables make such a continued commitment to the Redwood Coast. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Motion to approve Wings Inflatables, Inc., ET number 25-0284, in the amount of $313,600.
Second.
Any public comment?
There are no public comments online.
And there are none in the room? Nope. So we'll move to vote.
Douglas Tracy,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
So we're all in agreement and we have approved the panel packet. I can't even speak. The proposal, so you are funded. Good
Thank
luck.
you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Ooh, the whole packet.
Like my tongue tied. It's that kind of time.
Trust me, I get it. All right, we are on to Brewer Crane LLC, DBA Brewer Crane and Rigging. They are a new contractor requesting $98,000 in training to train a total of 70 workers, and training will take place at their location in San Diego, and the representatives are here to answer any questions.
Hello, I'm Jesse Daniels, the Safety and Compliance Manager with Brewer Crane, crane rental company in San Diego. And thank you guys for letting me be here.
Thank you. Does the panel have questions? See a nodding of a head.
Just not my usual format because you're not in that pipeline yet. So I wanted to ask you though, pertaining to Productive Lab, you state that your curriculum is equipment operation, maintenance, and troubleshooting. What does that mean for
So-
Productive Lab?
Under equipment operation, it would be, we team up an operator with an oiler.
Mhm,
And the
one-on-one.
oiler's idea would be to move up to be an operator.
Okay.
So on the job training kind of thing where the operator's teaching the oiler how to run a crane.
Okay.
And then the maintenance would be junior, like we bring in apprentice style mechanics.
Okay.
And then they will go with a journeyman style mechanic and learn the trade that way.
Okay. You mentioned apprenticeship. Are you guys going to be pursuing a apprenticeship partnership in the near time future?
Yes, we have one with ABC and AGC.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And those apprentices are not included in this contract,
No.
right? Yeah, I didn't think so. Perfect.
Fantastic. Any other questions?
Motion to approve Brewer Crane LLC, DBA Brewer Crane and Rigging, and an ETP funding amount of $98,000.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comments?
There are no public comments online.
And none here, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so we are all in favor. The motion's adopted. You're funded.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, panel members, we are on to CP Manufacturing, Inc. on tab 9. This is a new contractor requesting $248,976 in training to train approximately 171 workers. Training will take place at their location in San Diego, and representatives are here to answer any questions.
Hi, good morning. I'm Gisela Esparza, the HR manager for CP Manufacturing. We are located in south of San Diego. I literally can see the boardwalk from my office. And thank you for your time, and, for your time in reviewing our proposal. Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
No, other than our flight to San Diego is delayed. Just that.
I flew in this morning.
Okay, motion to approve CP Manufacturing, Inc. and an ETP funding amount of $248,976.
Second.
Public comments on this proposal? Does not look like anyone in the room is running. Any online?
There are no public comments online.
Alrighty, we'll move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so we are all voted in favor, so the motion's adopted and you're funded. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right, let's move on. The next project is iBase T Inc. They are a repeat contractor requesting $89,040 to train a total of 53 workers. And training will take place at their location in Lake Forest, and representatives are here to answer any questions.
Hello, my name is Alexander Huerta. I am the Learning and Development Team Lead at iBaseT, and we are the #1 manufacturer operating system. And so for aerospace and defense, thank you for your support, and please ask any questions.
Thank you. Does the panel have any questions?
You know what's coming. You put NA for fringe benefits. I can only imagine you do provide some benefits to your workers, correct?
Correct.
Elaborate, please.
Yes, well, the main ones that we do offer, our top ones are the 401k, health benefits. We offer 5 different versions. And we also have to include our international as well, but that's strictly just speaking for the US, for the 5. And then we have our 1 dental as well as 1 vision plan.
Okay.
On top of the 401k, we also offer a special one for our 50 and older where we can give a larger increase. We do a matching one as well.
The first 401k, is that receiving matching a percentage?
Yes.
Okay, excellent.
Thank you for clarifying.
Thank you. So for future times, we want to hear about what that percentage is or that amount is for the 401k matching. And then for healthcare, what the employer contribution is for the healthcare, monetary amount or percentage, please.
Yes, I actually have that number
Thank
for you.
Like you knew I was going to
I was doing work in the back.
Prepared for this. I'm going to
I gave a heads up to people.
I appreciated that just because I'm on the learning and development side, not operations.
Right.
So I was informed that we offer employees pay 40% and then we pay, the company pays 60%. And not only do we offer that, we have a PEO. So there's some other benefits that we offer, like mental health, 3 free hours for our employees. And that's also in connection to some of our HMO plans that we have.
Okay. And wage progression.
Yes. So on average, we have an increase annually around 3% on average.
Okay.
Now, as time goes on, as we see a need happening within the company, there are opportunities for role-based promotions, and we try to hold off more for the annual process, but sometimes, especially with the AI boom, we have to see what's happening within aerospace and defense, and that's one of our products where we're training people on how to utilize AI, which is going to change all of our curriculum that we had from last year, where we have to now upskill all of our employees to get them ready for AI usage. And also with our release of the I-130, we have to make sure they're up to par. And so as they are getting educated, we're also seeing that they need to be promoted into different areas.
Okay. And the AI is used to manage the equipment and the operations, not necessarily the people power.
Correct.
Okay.
It is part of our product that was just released like last month.
Okay. Thank you. There's like this other discussion where AI is being used to grade workers and then the workers having to report to the AI bot and then like their future is determined by the AI bot rather than their manager and their performance and the whole person. So thank you for the clarification.
Of course.
AI is a bit of a scary thing at times, but other times it's wonderful. It's like good and bad and the ugly. Anyone else have questions? Because I have a couple, but I just wanted to see if anyone else had. Okay. So we all keep fairly good notes. We all go back to prior contracts. When I look at your current numbers of employees and your last contract as well, in your this current contract, you're showing 53 employees here in California. You're also showing training of 53. Are you basically proposing training for every employee, or are you projecting a growth of employees? Does that make sense?
If I'm understanding you correctly, what is their projection as well as?
You're showing at 53 employees training, and you're showing as a total of 53 employees in the state of California currently.
Correct.
So are you training every employee in this contract, or are you looking at there may be a growth as well?
Growth. Yeah, we are providing a growth.
And in your last contract, you showed that you had 65 California employees. He's smiling because he knows it's going to come. And you had a projection of growth of 27 under job creation in the last contract. We've since sunsetted job creation, but I always, when I see job creation, I'm like, yes, I love the idea that we're creating jobs, we're growing businesses. but the numbers aren't necessarily showing me that. So as we're looking forward into a future contract, what happened?
Yeah. Again, as you mentioned, I already kind of knew the question was coming. We, unfortunately, with the rise of living in California, that has caused some of our employees to move and to relocate.
Yeah.
And some of our other more experienced employees have decided to retire. So, which is bringing our numbers down in California. However, we are already projecting to grow. We have 8 open positions and we're hoping to fill that up already. And we were expecting only just 10 and we just started our quarter. And so we are now expecting to grow by 20.
Okay, fantastic. Because it does make me a bit nervous when I see growth outside of California and a decline in California. And we were providing training for growth as part of the funds.
Yes.
The other thing, there's a statement in the contract that, or in the project scope, that I just want a bit more detail on. So you say that the training may share titles from previous contracts. And the actual course content is continually updated to reflect change in tech, industry standards, etc. Are we saying that the content, that every employee is having to be retrained every year on the same content? So it's more like compliance, regulatory, or is it, a few of them are going because there's been such change? I've never known content to have to change so much that I have to retrain on an annual basis unless it's annual training, if that makes sense.
It's different. And the reason why it's different, like I mentioned, we just released our new product, which is, we call it I-130, which has Solumina AI, which is going to help digitize our manufacturers to go to the cloud. Our employees, though, need to utilize the product itself. So that's going to impact them in specific areas for their role, on top of us getting familiar with like Microsoft Copilot, which is our AI, and using GitHub and using that, impacting our basic day-to-day tasks. So this is where we're talking about, hey, it's the same topic, but we're really emphasizing the focus of AI on every area.
So it's with an AI focus rather than the foundation of the topic.
Yes.
It gets a bit gray. I think it goes to Mike's comment earlier as well about curriculum lists. When you look through, you see the same curriculum, maybe one item added. It just questions on repeat contracts sometimes when we see such similarity. And that comment was slightly different than what we see in other proposals. So I just wanted to dig a bit further. Okay. Any other questions? Comments? No? Anyone want to make a motion?
Motion to approve iBase T Inc., right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. In an ETP funding amount of $89,040.
Second.
Do we have any public comment in the room? Any online?
There are no public comments online.
All right, so no public comments here as well. We shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty, so we all voted in favor. The motion is adopted and you're funded.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
All right, panel members, we are on to Life Generations Healthcare LLC, DBA Generations Healthcare. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance. They are requesting $439,040 in training to train approximately 490 workers, and representatives are here to answer any questions.
Good morning, Chairperson and members of the panel. My name is Michelle Rubishaw, and I'm here today on behalf of Life Generations Healthcare.
But can I just ask you to step a bit closer to the microphone so
Yeah.
those online can hear?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you want me to start over?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, good morning. My name's Michelle Rubishaw, and I'm here on behalf of Life Generations Healthcare. We're really grateful for the opportunity for your consideration or your reconsideration today. And I wanted to just share how ETP funding has helped make such an impactful, a meaningful impact on the people that we serve throughout the state of California. Generations Healthcare was founded upon the belief that caring for the sick, the elderly, and the infirm is a special and sacred stewardship. Our commitment to deliver compassionate, high-quality care across skilled nursing and behavioral health facilities is important, and the funds that ETP provides us allows us to do exactly that. The healthcare landscape is changing, as you all are aware, and the expectations that are placed on our workforce are higher than ever. ETP funding has been a vital resource in helping us to meet those demands by investing in our staff through targeted training, skill development, and leadership growth. Our project was submitted before January 2025, but I wanted to speak to Ms. Newsom's questions regarding our wage progression and our fringe benefits. On average, our staff receives 5%. However, many of our clinical staff are increased in a range of 8 to 9%. We have transitioned our business into behavioral health. As you know, there is such a need for that. And so we are doing a ton of training right now to not just train nurses, but also recruit and retain those with specific mental health backgrounds. As far as fringe benefits, we pay 70 to 80% for medical insurance. We offer dental, vision, 401k with a match, life insurance, short-term disability, long-term disability, an employee assistance program, as well as a tuition reimbursement program, which many of our employees apply for and receive. Over the last several years, we have grown our organization to over 5,000 employees, and I'm really proud to say that many of our nurses have started out maybe as CNAs and have continued their education through the support of our tuition reimbursement program. They have gone on to receive wound care certifications, infection preventionist certifications, RAC certification, which is specific to our industry on MDS, so the reimbursement that we receive from the government. So we're just really proud of our nurses and our staff, and we love to continue to provide them with education and training so that they can continue to grow and stick around with us. We have a lot of tenure, and we're really excited to apply for this grant. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for anyone?
Thank you for providing that information. I know you weren't in the pipeline, like you said, but I really appreciate it, and it means the world to me.
My pleasure.
I did notice, though, that you did have an audit finding, and I just wanted to allow you the opportunity to elaborate on that and lessons learned and going forward.
Absolutely. I was not involved in the project initially that had the audit. And so I can't speak specifically to it, but I think moving forward, we've added to our staff, we have outreach and engagement staff, specifically members on my team, that will help facilitate the auditing internally before we submit to ETP. We have a very engaged senior leadership team that is very supportive of ETP and what it means. So I think just our internal training of those that are going to be doing the training, boots on the ground, to ensure that, we meet all of the requirements. I don't anticipate that type of audit or payback required again.
Thank you. I guess to Gretchen's question around audits, we also, as we look at performance, there's been a steady improvement, but we're still not like in that 90 bubble, which we always like. But it's been gradually getting better over the periods. What are you doing to help really ensure really good performance? Like, we're getting people through, we're getting skilled nursing, we're giving them wage progressions. We're still sitting in like the 80s, it's better than the 70s, but like, how are you working to work towards that?
Yeah. I think the reality is that, again, we're unique because we do have several entities, and we were only able to include a few of the entities. We have 31 throughout the state of California. We hand selected those based on the leadership that I have in the building that I know can facilitate getting the signed rosters back. The reality is these individuals on the floor are providing direct patient care. That's their number one focus. And so these rosters, while are very important, is just another thing for them. So having, I think, the leadership, the supportive leadership to ensure that those forms are signed and completed, to acknowledge the work that they're already doing and the training that's being provided, I think certainly will add to that.
Fantastic.
And I think just to add to that, their last project, we didn't do it, but it was right in the middle of COVID, like really spanned the entire COVID, and they were healthcare. So a lot of people left, didn't want to be in healthcare anymore. So that definitely affected their ability to perform.
I love it's on the upwards, that we haven't gone down suddenly and then we're trying to get back up again. It's always once we hit the low, it's like, how do we keep progressing to get to that in that sense? Alrighty. Any other questions, comments?
Motion to approve Life Generations Healthcare Healthcare LLC DBA Generations Healthcare and an ETP funding amount of $439,040.
Second.
Any public comments? None in the room?
There are no public comments online.
All right, we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty, so we all voted in favor. The motion's adopted and you are funded.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we will move on to Precision Fluid Controls, Inc. This is tab 12. They are a new contractor requesting $218,400 in funding to train a total of 130 workers. Training will take place at their locations in Placer and Sacramento counties. And here, we have representatives from the company here to answer any questions.
Good morning. My name's Sue Garrett, and I've been with the company for 13 years. Since I started with the company, we had 9 employees. 2 of them were the owners. We've grown to about approximately right now, because we're still adding, 140 employees. We went from 4,000 square feet to 77,000 feet of workspace. We make valves for rocket ships and launch vehicles. On these vehicles that you see going up, the commercial and NASA vehicles, we have over 2,000 valves on each ship. We design, manufacture, assemble, and ship to our customers these that go up on almost a weekly basis now. There'll be at least one going up. It's been a journey that's been beautiful. We need to keep up with the sector of training. We're going after our FAA, and we hope to keep contributing to the space industry.
Fantastic. Questions, comments?
Wage progression?
Wage,
Percentage?
yes.
Yes, please.
Okay, we start all of our employees at $25 an hour.
Thank you.
In doing so, we have a 30, 60, 90-day trial period for our employees. During that progression, we meet with them each month to see how they're progressing. We have a very high quality standard in our sector. We are on manned ships. We have the life of these people in our hands. Our valves are the propulsion valves that actually launch the vehicles and the check valves that keep it operating. Without those being perfect and precise, we are having people's lives at stake. So after the 90 days, we will reestablish where our new employees stand. So our biggest turnover rate is in the first 90 days. At that point, if they're above and beyond where we thought they would at that $25, they will get an increase then. From that point forward, of probably a couple dollars.
Okay.
From the 25. At that point, we do have, throughout the years, people progress, breakthrough raises, but we definitely have annual merit raises and bonuses to about 6%.
Thank you.
Any other comments, questions?
I have a quick question. You are a new contractor and you are at 10% for a turnover rate, and you are continually growing, as you mentioned. So you're at about 140. So doing the math, that's about 14 employees, which it's still a smaller company, so that can have impact. And you mentioned that within the first 90 days is where the largest turnover rate happens for you all. So can you just expand a little bit on that?
Okay.
For me?
After that initial 90 days, it drops to about 2 to 3%. And the reason that those individuals might be released from duty is because they are either not following our processes and procedures, and at retraining, they still don't get it. And because of the quality and the lives we have at stake, we can't afford to keep employees on that can't follow our procedures.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion?
Motion to approve Precision Fluid Controls, Inc. and an ETP funding amount of $218,400.
Thank you.
Second.
Any public comment on this proposal?
There are no public comments online.
And I don't see any in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so we all voted in favour. The motion is adopted and you're funded. Good luck.
Thank you for your time.
All right, panel members, we are moving on to tab 13. This is a proposal for Stir Foods LLC. They are a repeat contractor requesting $560,000 in training to train approximately 400 workers. And training will take place at the company's locations in Orange County. And they are here to answer any questions you may have.
Good morning, panel. It's a pleasure to be here today and to present our presentation to you guys. My name is Tony Salazar. I'm the corporate EHS/training and development manager for Stir Foods. I've been with the company for 2 years, and we manufacture dressings, sauces, syrups, and condiment type products for food manufacturers as well, for food service, retail, and contract businesses. And thank you for considering us for this ETP. And I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you and welcome back. Any questions?
You know,
Yes.
fringe benefits and wage progression in actual amounts of either percentage or expected monetary amount increase.
Okay, so for the fringe benefits, we do offer health programs, health benefits with medical, vision, and dental. And we do an 80-20%, so company pays 80%, employees pay 20. We do offer the 401k with a dollar for dollar match up to 4.5%. We do offer tuition reimbursement as well. And for page rate increase,
Yes.
we have a annual 4% increase, which could be higher based on merit, but it's a base of 4% annually.
Okay.
And we also have mid-year reviews that are done by our supervisors and managers with their direct reports. And it's during those mid-year reviews where they evaluate skill set and performance. And they could either be offered promotions or wage increases mid-year as well.
Very good. Thank you. I did have a follow-up question pertaining to prior performance. You're hovering around 75%. You had an improved amount of 487,000. Your payment earned was 366,000 and some change. You're now going for 560,000. So it's quite a jump without having proven to us the effectiveness of meeting closer to 100%. So it makes me a little nervous, and usually this would be right-sized to an amount closer to your prior performance. But I would love for you to have the opportunity to elaborate on how things are going to be different this time around and why we should be increasing the amount.
Yes, valid question. 2 years ago, I came on board with Stir Foods mid-January of 2023, and the ETP contract had already been assigned, and we had already had it, so I kind of inherited it. And it's our first year. That was our first agreement in dealing with ETP. So we were at a pretty big learning curve, I myself, taking over the training and development department. And so when I came on board, they really didn't have an L&D department. It didn't exist, which is why they hired me on, because they're going through a growth spurt where we are growing. So they hired me on to develop it. They realized how important training was. So they hired me on to develop that program. So since then, we really, again, had no training department. So the first year of me being there was the development of those training programs. So they just didn't exist. As well as my lack of understanding of the ETP program. So I actually submitted 86%. I submitted about $419,000. And during the final audit, because of, again, my lack of understanding and the complexity of it, I did not really understand the differences between class lab, production lab, and job 1 and job 2. So that's where I got nailed on job 1 and job 2, not understanding the classifications. So in the final audit that I submitted about $50,000 was rejected because I had put too much into job 1 or job 2, I believe it was. And this year around, we only have job 1, which thank you very much for that. That does alleviate a lot of complexity with the system. So appreciate it with that. So now what we have now over the last 2 years, I've been able to develop the new hire onboarding program has been developed and in action now. We have the leadership training that's developed and now in action as well. We have the mentorship program, which is in development and should be done by the end of this year. We should have that in place. We have the Six Sigma training and development, which should be ready to roll out in late July or in August. And we have what's called the 3x3 cross-training program that is completed and ready to be rolled out again in late January or late July, early August. And what that in a sense is a program that I developed for our employees and the benefit of the company, which means every piece of equipment that we have in our facilities should have 3 employees able to operate that one piece of equipment. And every employee should be able to operate 3 separate pieces of equipment. So it's called 3x3 cross-training. And that's what we're implementing now. So we have a lot of development training programs that are in place today that were not in place at the beginning of the ETP contract last year. So with that, in a sense, you can say about 75% of our business is the manufacturing floor. And that process is going to literally elevate them to about 3 times the training that we're going to be providing per employee. I've also got in development a career path program. That one I'm still in works, right? So that one's probably going to be early next year where that one will be rolling out, but there's only so much I can get done in a couple of years. But that's why I believe we're able to achieve that. Just the knowledge that I have now with the system, with the ETP program, and all the training programs that are now in development and in works, I believe we'll be able to achieve that goal.
Okay. So that really helps me a lot. But typically or traditionally, this amount would be right-sized. And the last thing we want to see is for you to come back around next time around.
Yes.
And then if you're not meeting it again, it looks really bad.
Yes.
And so I'd like to see under the chair's discretion, if there's an aptitude to right-size this down to 460,000, sounds like a nice round number to me. That you can easily reach, hopefully, but puts you closer to that threshold of 100%. So without endangering things.
There's a
but-
few, I was going to say, there's a few things I'm hearing. Go, Mike. I'll let you.
Before you do that, just a question. Do you have support staff to implement the training and record the results?
Yes, actually, we have an LMS system that we use, Alchemy. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Alchemy system, but we use that system and they have an upgrade that's called Playbook. And that Playbook is a fantastic training tool to be used out on the floor for not only to help training programs where we can record somebody doing the actual position and use that to train our staff for cross-training, but that will also do all of the accounting for us. It'll document electronically who's been trained on which machine, how much training they've had, what they may need, where they're lacking. So that system alone is going to help me develop these programs and keep them in track, as well as the supervisors who are really well informed or well. Our supervisors spend about 80% of their time on the production floor, 20% behind a desk. So they're my basic support for training and developing.
Okay, so you don't have any staff reporting to you that operates LMS or
I do not.
takes care of the okay.
I do
That's
not.
what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm looking for that myself.
I think as I'm listening to this, I'm hearing a couple of things. I just want to clarify the mentor program that you talked about. You are not seeking that under curriculum, correct?
For the what?
The mentorship program?
Mentorship? No, I do not.
That's not one. Okay, just
No,
wanted to make
I-
sure because that's one that is definitely not what I would call falls under the categories of ETP.
Yeah, correct. That's
training.
not, that's on my list.
On the
to be
list.
honest. Yes.
I think, so I'm listening through to this. I see you also have a component of Productive Lab in here around the on-the-job training component, and you're really looking at that for about 12 hours for preventative maintenance. Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct.
And that's true, that's side by side.
Yes.
Whilst production is running, costing almost double to do the same job. Okay. I'm hearing a lot of like in development, and I'm thinking about success and that thing. Prior contracts have been good as well. I will say there's one for like 193,000 from 19 through 22 that did well. I know where we're going here. I guess I want to ask others where their thoughts are on this. In success, it is a sizable amount more than where we were successful before. I don't know. I'm asking others as well.
I'm kind of comfortable with right sizing it.
You want to go down a bit? Okay. You're all looking at like okay, how much? So now the question is how much?
I mean, this is
500
fun.
sounds like a round number.
No.
I know 500 is a good round number. I'm going to go back to what the numbers actually say to me.
That sounds like a good number to me.
Like
Let me
all
interject.
Rightish.
Let me interject. It looks like staff has right-sized the number at 459,200. Can you verify that, Laura? Okay.
So
Like
if we right size this with approximately 400 trainees at 41 average hours per person, that would give us, assuming my math is right, $459,200, as Dr. Grimes said.
So my hive mind with you of 460,000 was really good.
It was. I'm very impressed. I'm
We
almost
are-
like they've
we
been
are syncing
whispering.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Do people feel better about that amount? Like the 459,000 and whatever I did not write it down, so I can't
got it.
quote it.
Might I make a recommendation? And Kumani, please interject here. I would recommend that the motion say no more than 460,000. That way, if my math is incorrect and staff go back into the system to crunch the numbers, we have a little bit of flexibility should we need it. But understanding that the project will land right around 459.
Got it. Okay, motion to approve Stir Foods LLC in an adjusted ETP funding amount of up to 460,000.
Second.
Any public comments on this?
There are no public comments online.
And I'm not seeing anyone in the room. We shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right, so the motion was adopted to fund you at the reduced amount, but you are funded for that amount. Good luck, and we look forward to seeing the success.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All righty. We will now hear a project from the San Diego Union Tribune LLC. This is on tab 14. They are a new contractor requesting $110,400 to train a total of 115 workers. And training will take place at the company's location in San Diego. And here today are representatives from the San Diego Tribune.
Hi, my name is Hillary Fox. I'm the HR manager for San Diego Union Tribune. Thank you all for your time today. I'm happy to help answer any questions you may have.
Good morning. So does the panel have any questions, comments?
Okay, talk to me a little bit more about fringe benefits. You state in your proposal that the company is covering 46% to 73% of premiums based on the chosen plan, but how much effectively is the employee having to pay then?
It ranges. We have 3 tiers of health. So we have like a bronze to a gold tier, and then there's employee only, employee spouse, employee child. So it ranges from employee paying $1,153.92 at the minimum and a max of $4,058.16 per year.
Per year, not per month?
Per year.
Thank
Yes,
God.
absolutely.
Okay. And your wage ranges, I can see, thank you for wage progression. You stated 2% to 6%. Thank you for stating that. But I'm very concerned about the wage ranges for reporters and editorial staff being 21, 22 up to 60. I like the up to 60 thing. That's great. But it's really hard for me to imagine a reporter or an editorial staff member being paid less than $25 an hour and being successful in this industry. What does that look like for their wage progression? I mean, San Diego is the most expensive city to live in the entire nation. I live there too. Say, give my regards to the editorial staff. But it's really difficult for that. So what does that look like for them?
So our goal in applying for the ETP is to have more focused training and more opportunities for our reporters and our editorial staff to get them to where they need to be. And without the funding, we wouldn't have those opportunities otherwise. But that's our whole goal, is to try and get there.
Okay. And then for your curriculum, it's a wide range of curriculum. Are you going to be selecting any training vendors to provide that curriculum?
We do generally we do it in-house. We have a corporate trainer that helps a lot with the sales side, and then our IT departments and everything like that would help with the AI. And we may use some subcontractors here and there depending on the platform, but typically in-house.
I'm going to rest for now.
Okay. Anyone else?
I do have a quick question. Turnover rate is slightly higher. 10% is kind of when my flags start to go up. You are definitely under ETP's threshold. But my question is this common within your industry to have a slightly higher turnover rate, or is this unique to your organization?
I think it's unique to us for the past year. We were sold in 2023 and then unfortunately had to go through layoffs in 2025 or 2024. We've since stabilized, so that number should go down.
Awesome. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, I'm sorry. We're just going to keep going. You have stated under training plan, remote work and productivity. As the Union Tribune continues supporting a hybrid workforce, training will include time management, digital collaboration, and productivity tools. What is that exactly? I mean, I don't usually see this under the training kind of plan.
So typically it's since COVID, we've become mostly remote. And so it's typically working in a remote environment and the skills and habits to remain productive and, working from home and all of that. So.
Okay. It's not like how to check the time clock for when you're on staff.
No.
Got it. Gonna be done.
You done?
I'm done.
You're done? Just ask it. Giving you the space. All right. Mike's put his glasses on though, so he might have a question. I don't know. Were you looking at numbers? He was looking at numbers. Okay.
Motion to approve the San Diego Union Tribune LLC and an ETP funding amount of $110,400.
Second.
All right. Do we have
Madam-
any?
Madam Chair,
Sure.
Member Tracy is using the men's room,
We
so
need to wait for him to vote.
yes.
Otherwise we're not.
I will do
quorum,
that.
are we? Okay.
And I would like to remind panel members to please speak in the mic, please.
Oh, okay.
We're being quiet.
Sometimes we're not hearing you and we're trying to make sure
Me?
that,
Okay.
just.
Concerned about
I'm not
wages
calling anyone out.
for reporters and
Just a
editorial
gentle
staff.
nudge. Just please speak in the mic.
We're having a day of it today, aren't we? I mean, it's one of those days.
Well, first turn on your mic and then
Council-
speak in it.
Madam Chair, I'm gonna suggest, does it make sense to maybe take a break now and then?
And then come back to vote. Yeah.
Hold on,
Motion.
Chief Counsel Armstrong, we have quorum though. So we would just make a reflection in the minutes that panel person Douglas Tracy left the room.
I'd like to give him an opportunity to vote, or if he's gonna abstain or recuse himself, so he hasn't done so.
All right, so we are actually about scheduled time for a break anyway. So we will take that break right now and then we will come back to vote after that. So we are going to take a 10-minute break, which it says 11:02. So we should be back by 11:12 on that clock. Or 11:13 now on that clock. It changes. It takes me that long. So we will be back here at 11:13 on that clock, on that screen. All right. And then we will vote after that. Okay.
Testing.
Okay.
Cool.
Keep that. All right, we are gonna reconvene as it is 11:13. We did well. We came back right in 10 minutes. We are, though, going to ask if San Diego you can come back up. We are going to move to vote because we do have an absent panel member, but we are going to continue through with votes. We just want to make sure the record notes that he is still not present.
Should I still say Douglas' name?
Yes. Kiana, yes? Yeah.
Douglas Tracy, Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Michael Hill,
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so those of us that all present were in affirmative, I can't even speak, all approved. I can't even get the words out. So those of us that were present, approved. So you are funded. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
We really left her hanging. What a cliffhanger.
I know.
She's like, this
no
break is rough.
a 10-minute rough. That was the longest 10 minutes probably.
Will I be approved? Okay. Anyway, all right. Tab members, we are moving on to True Organics Products, Inc. This is on tab 15. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, and they are requesting $570,024 to train approximately 261 workers. Training will take place at their locations in Monterey, Hanford, and Helm, and representatives from the company are here to answer any questions.
Good morning. Hi, my name is Carmen Padilla. I'm the HR Compliance Manager at True Organic Products. And I want to just say how much I appreciate that you guys seeing our project for this coming years. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions from panel? Go ahead.
Thank you so very much for having under healthcare insurance 100% company-sponsored medical, dental, and vision insurance coverage for employees. This means employees receive full healthcare coverage without any premium cost for individual plans. Gold star. Good job. If you can elaborate for me on what the actuals are in wage progression, either a percentage or an annual amount, what that actually looks like.
Yes. So for our wage progression, as I mentioned, so we, for new hires, we look at the 90 days and then 180 days.
Sorry, can I just get you to, slightly closer to the microphone? I was like, I can hear you, but I'm not sure. if I
Sorry about
understand.
that. I'm
That's
vertically
all right.
challenged, but but anyway, wage progression. So we have essentially an evaluation for new hires at the 90-day as well as the 180-day. So that can pretty much range between $50 to $1, increase, as well as we have on average between the 3 to 5% annual increase. So we do always do that at the beginning of the year. So that's essentially how we.
Thank you.
Any others? Go ahead, Mike.
Just, it says you're going to train 261 employees. Do you have that many employees?
Currently, no. That is part of the headcount that we're adding.
Okay.
I have a couple of questions. I'm curious about how the workforce literacy, I would say, application that you have, the grant that you have at the moment, fund for workforce literacy has been going because it's been a very hot topic around the whole audience around this. So how's that been going for you? I see you're looking at being 100% on track for that one.
Correct. Actually, we are at 100%. So we're currently closing it out. So yeah.
So how have you, I guess my question is, what's worked under it? How have we been successful? Because so many have been struggling within the workforce literacy. I know sometimes it's easier as an employer, but I'm just curious, like how it's been structured and effectiveness kind of thing.
Well, for our operations staff, it's definitely helped develop quite a bit of it because, as you know, everything is going more computerized, system softwares and things of that sort. So it's definitely helped us with our new ERP system that we've implemented and some of the new systems that we're actually going to move into. So it's helped overall with the sense of helping those employees develop those skills.
All right. I also have I'm on a numbers game today. I don't know where I had this moment, but I obviously have had some numbers games and it makes my head hurts, but it also seems to be, I seem to be tracking it. So I've been looking at your different contracts that you've had in 23. So you had a single employer, you also, which is closed out. You have the workforce literacy that is closing out. I'm going to say it still shows active. And then you're coming into this. Your number of employees at each of those applications are different. We've grown. We started with 205 in 2023. In the single employer in the February, we said we're also looking at 85 job creation, which we love to see. In 2023 for the workforce literacy, a few months later, we were at 280 employees, wanting to train 185. What's now starting to see is we're going into another contract. We've reduced numbers. We're down to 223. Turnover's gone up a bit. We're looking to train 261. I want to make sure in the management of all these contracts, and I need to double check with staff as well, that you truly are going to be successful and you're not going to have like in an audit finding, hate to say it, an audit finding happens that you've got enrolled in multiple or same topics, etc. So help me understand the management, I think, and what's been going on with employee numbers to show this ebb and flow as we're looking at this continual fund coming, I'm going to say your way, through these different contracts.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've only been with the company for a year, so I wasn't here for those contracts, but actually Angela has actually been here, so I could let her answer.
I'm happy to try to
Yeah.
help with that question. So True Organic has been a small organization, and what they provide, the industry is expanding exponentially. So in the last contract, the projection of number to be hired, we didn't reach that amount to be hired because they were building a whole new warehouse. The warehouse was delayed. Now it's completed, just recently completed. They're spending about $50 million between 2023 and 2025 with new buildings, expanding buildings. And so now that the warehouse is officially completed, it's only 30% staffed. And so we will get to 100% staffed over this contract. And that's kind of the disparity of the headcount with the projected new hires, is that mainly that the building did not get completed. So the new hires did not get put into them because there was not a completion of the building. I hope that helps too.
Yeah, it raises a question to me. So I want to understand, so you have a warehouse operator, for example, in each of these contracts listed as an occupation. So in the single employer, in the workforce literacy, and now into this one. And I'm almost going to go to a Gretchen question here. How's the training helped them to progress to a higher wage or to be able to just be better at the jobs that they're doing? Because it's almost like back to back. And I want to make sure, like from an administration perspective as well, it's not going to hurt anyone that there's been problems with administration. Does that make sense?
Yes. So in the previous contracts, the warehouse staff was a smaller amount at the Helm location. And now there's a dedicated large warehouse staff with a large, system being put in place. So it's different warehouse staff from the previous contract coming
I
into
guess
the warehouse.
I find that a bit hard looking at your numbers because your numbers have been pretty much close to the number of employees to the number of trainees. So it's almost like I'm seeing the same employee go through different training, whether it's be the same training, different training, but it feels like you had 205 employees in the single employer in February of 2023 with 171 trainees projected. At the same time, we had 185 employees projected of 280 in the August workforce literacy application. And now we're at 223 with 261 trainees. It very much sounds like it's all of them. So that's why I'm just understanding like that progression of that employee and how it's really helping them to a higher wage, skills.
Yes, and new
business.
job, and they're getting moved into different positions because the warehouse level is, probably 90% of the workforce, English isn't their first language. And so many of them have been able to move up into the production side of it and outside of the warehouse. So the training through ETP has been invaluable, honestly.
Can I just add a couple comments here? Me.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like, where's the voice? I'm like, I don't know why I didn't think of you that. Yeah.
I want to address what I hear are some of your concerns, right? What you're saying is that they have a literacy contract and then they have another contract coming. And what I hear again is you're concerned that they're taking the same trainees and the same training topics and just duplicating them and then just shifting that.
Correct. Over 3 different contracts in a very close.
No topics are, no courses are repeated.
Right.
So it may have a similar topic, but underneath that, the courses are totally different. No one gets the same training.
Correct. Remember, our guidelines do allow, because these come from different set types of funding, to have concurrent enrollment. There's also a representation from the contractor that the training is not going to be the exact same, right? Although the generalized curriculum topic is listed, that when they go from level 1 in one contract, that they're going to go to the level 2 in another contract. And again, it's just a projection of how many trainings that they're going to do in that contract at that time. So it may change. But to answer your concerns, from at least what I'm hearing, is that none of the training will be duplicated, even if the course topic looks like it's duplicated.
That is one of my biggest concerns. I think the other is just about the progression of those employees as we're putting in, the company's putting a lot of money into them, ETP's putting a lot of money into them.
Yes.
Are we seeing a progression of, I'm going to say wages, skills of that individual as well? It's interesting when you look at some larger companies, they may be doing the same, they may not, but we don't see it because the numbers aren't so close to the total number of employees.
Yeah.
That's where I think we get a bit nervous because the numbers are literally mirroring total number of employees
Yes.
versus a percentage of employees.
You know, there's a really easy way to fix this is to
Go ahead, Mike.
create 101, 102, whatever, a sequence of courses that obviously are advanced.
And put
So-
it in the curriculum list that way.
Yeah, just put it in there.
It's a simple fix, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Comments?
Check with the chair and the panel members. Are you comfortable at the amount with it or?
One comment about the amount is it's actually less hours than the last project because you changed the rate of reimbursement from 23 to 28.
Mhm.
So it's, even though the amount is more than, considerably more, the actual hours is less that we're asking to train.
It's pretty high average cost per trainee across all the different contracts. So I'm checking in with other panel members. I think I'm okay at this point, but
I think I'm okay.
okay. Motion to approve True Organic Products, Inc. in an ETP funding amount of $570,024 with the caveat that they will update their curriculum listing to show progression of training by tiers. Does that help?
Second.
Any public comment on this proposal?
There are no public comments online.
And I don't see any in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty, so we were all in favor, so the motion's adopted and you're funded. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, panel members, we are moving on to BioMarin Pharmaceutical, Inc. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $599,760 to train approximately 357 workers. And training will take place at their 2 locations in Marin County, and representatives are here to answer any questions.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Lindsay Chediak. I'm the Associate Director of State Government Affairs at BioMarin. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you today. I'm here to respectfully ask for your continued support to help upskill our manufacturing workforce in Novato. BioMarin is a global biotechnology company, and we're proud to have been born and bred right here in California, founded in Marin County in 1997, as the name Marin in our name alludes to proudly. At BioMarin, our team relentlessly pursues bold science to translate genetic discoveries into new medicines that advance the future of human health, specifically for children affected by rare and ultra-rare diseases. At present, only 5% of the estimated 8,000 rare diseases that impact children have an FDA-approved treatment. At BioMarin, we're working every day to change that statistic. We apply our scientific expertise in understanding the underlying causes of genetic rare diseases to create transformative medicines using a variety of specialized treatment modalities. Just yesterday, we celebrated the 20th anniversary of the FDA approval of one medicine that we manufacture right here in California that treats a rare, progressive, life-limiting disease called mucopolysaccharidosis type 6, or MPS 6 for short. We had a patient visit us named Isabel. She was diagnosed shortly after she turned 5 years old and was told she only had a couple years at most to live. Luckily, we were able to get her involved in one of our clinical trials in the Bay Area, and she's been on treatment ever since, and she's now getting ready to celebrate her 30th birthday, which is a milestone she's incredibly happy to be able to reach. As a California-based company, we're really proud to be part of California's growing life sciences industry, and we continue to expand our pipeline to treat additional rare and ultra-rare diseases impacting children. Our workforce development efforts align directly with Governor Newsom's first economic blueprint for the Bay Area, supporting careers in one of California's fastest growing sectors. Thank you again for your consideration and for your continued support of California's workforce. I'd also like to thank ETP staff, BioMarin's Learning and Development team, and Philip Herrera for their work on our application, and I'm happy to answer any additional questions about our application. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you. Any questions?
A few. Again, we're in the growing period, so, and I have my hangry chocolate bar. So
was very
I'm
fitting
trying to
for that
read
morning.
things correctly while monitoring my blood sugar levels. So under fringe benefits, you state the conservative average for employer paid fringe benefits is approximately 22%. So that's 22% on top of the base wage, not you're only paying 22% of their medical coverage and then the employee is paying 80%. The latter is not what we're talking about.
I don't believe
The
so.
former.
The former,
Thank
yeah.
goodness. Okay. Perfect. Excellent job on the rest of it. But I did have a follow-up question. I even put a note down. I'm very happy on the wages. However, I wanted to have a little bit of a discussion about your productive lab. Very high amount of 60 hours of productive lab at a 1-to-1 ratio. Love the ratio, but the 60 hours is a pretty high amount for that. So I need you to elaborate.
And the 250, all 250
And all
proposal,
250, exactly.
going through seems an awful lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to correct that, we estimate that 25 trainees out of the 250 scheduled to attend the PL are expected to receive the full 60 hours, but the average will be closer to 30 hours per trainee.
Can you help us understand a bit what the productive lab is doing in like a lot of our productive lab we're seeing most people saying 15 to 20. We know a lot of people are doing a lot of on-the-job training. They're just putting in, I'm going to say, smaller amounts. Can you help us understand better about like what the type of stuff is they're doing from a productive lab perspective?
Sure. Let's speak to that.
Sure, you want to start and then I'll finish?
Sure, yeah. So, I'm on the government affairs team, so I'm not in the lab every day.
Sorry, yep.
But, I can tell you that from speaking with staff, it sounds like the productive lab is the opportunity to actually get on the job, hands-on training. It's not just simulated. They're actually working on product directly. And from my understanding as well, our team is highly segmented. So of the products that we manufacture in Novato, they're assigned to a specific product team, and they contribute directly to that individual product. And it's quite different for each product, given we manufacture biologics, which involve live microorganisms and live cell cultures going into the therapy.
The other thing that I admire about life sciences and advanced manufacturing, there's a training plan for each one of these. And you train to a tool or an MPI, and at the end of it, you do receive a certificate that you're trained on that tool. The other thing is that life sciences is highly regulated, so the FDA will come in and review whether someone is actually competent on that procedure before they could sell that product. The other thing, the other life science companies that I bring to you, if you look inside that clean room, all this stuff looks the same. I mean, they're all like bioreactors and things, so highly transferable. If you have to find another job, you can go from BioMarin to Boehringer Ingelheim on the fly. So this is what I admire about this industry. It's highly transferable between employers.
Give me that. I know what you're
I'm
feeling.
giving you the look because the productive lab component is still kind of raising a flag for me. Like I'm looking at your curriculum and it doesn't really seem to meet the match of what we typically consider as productive lab. If you have to do the productive lab because the equipment is on the floor, you have to master the equipment piece. You have to go onto the floor to do that in order to essentially create a product that is also very beneficial to the employer. You're making money off of that you're requesting Productive Lab. And what I see here listed in the curriculum is more of like coursework that should be taught in the classroom, not necessarily on the floor. So it's the amount of Productive Lab that's kind of triggering for me of like, maybe I right size that to a more average typical amount that we typically approve and still do the full amount of the contract.
Yeah, I mean, speaking on behalf of the contract, we'd be totally up for reducing it to a lower amount because they do instructor-led training outside the clean room and then go in there and OJT. So really at the pleasure of the panel. So yeah, we'll hear your recommendation.
Yeah, I think something Phil said there, not to like beat a dead horse, but he said something along the lines of they then do the OJT. It's whether it's a lab or whether it's actually manufacturing the product. Is that difference between Productive Lab versus classroom? And I think that's the big piece that we're getting at, is some of this may actually be more classroom lab than Productive Lab, because we may not actually be manufacturing two people doing the job of one kind of piece, or reducing, increasing the cost of the product versus it's a learning cycle of a lab, I liken it to the biology lab at school. I had classroom and then it was like time to dissect that heart. Now we're going to dissect it in the lab, and we've done the theory behind it. Now we're going to find the valves and the other pieces versus I'm going out and doing the open heart surgery right now kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's a good observation because that's how they delineate it in the LMS. So absolutely, we're up for lowering that because they're going to do plenty of this. And I think for ETP, it probably would be a good idea to drop the OJT to some other number. So we're all ears.
Now we play, what number is that?
If I may, panel, excuse the interruption. It does sound like the majority of the staff will receive closer to 30. So
That's
keep
what
that
I
in mind
heard.
as far as a comfortability factor for you all.
That's what I heard was 30.
Like 30?
Still slightly higher than we see a lot of the time, but it's not as bad as
Not egregious.
it's not as bad as 60. Put it that way. Oh, it's 50%. It's 50% of the time.
Sorry, just to be clear, we're talking about reducing the number of,
Productive Lab hours,
not the total contract.
not the total dollar amount. I guess there'll be some shuffling around where the number, like where the total hours of training per individual is going to change because we say we reduce Productive Lab. That's a different question.
So the reimbursement rate is the same for the class lab methodology and the Productive Lab methodology. So if the company were to increase their simulated lab classroom-based training in order to course correct for the Productive Lab, you might not necessarily want to reduce the contract overall. The other thing that I would like to mention is that they have a weighted average of 60 average hours per person. Keep in mind that our class lab range is 0 to 200. So we do have quite a wide range. So it's not as if some folks are only going to get 60 hours and it's only all Productive Lab. So we put it in those ranges to allow flexibility for the contractors.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. And is there also an issue with the clarity of the training list?
I think it's a very long list for Productive Lab, but that's just me.
Okay.
In like, there is an awful lot of items on there now. It may be that everyone has that detailed training plan and everyone's going through when we reduce down to 30. If it truly was only 25 of them are going through 60 hours of Productive Lab, not 250, which was a really large number for the number of Productive Lab. But I don't know if that needs tightening up or it's that larger spread that people are going through. I'm looking over here because none of us know the answer to that, but like that 30 hours. I would say if we're reducing down to 30 hours, is this list truly Productive Lab or is this some of it actually lab, classroom lab versus Productive Lab? And that might be then you just tighten up the curriculum list with staff going into the contract so Exhibit B's
Sure. Yeah,
more
we would have-
reflective.
We could pull the class lab list off the Productive Lab curriculum, push it over via a modification. Won't create a lot of work for me or for staff.
Yeah, so it sounds like we need to modify, they need to update their Productive Lab curriculum. And we're saying a reduction of Productive Lab hours. but the average number of training hours sound like they're remaining the same still, correct? You still say there's enough training to spread the love, even though we're reducing the 250 productive lab from 60 to 30.
Yeah, and you can see that in their previous contracts. They're an excellent applicant. They do all the training in advance of the term date and then wait their turn until everything's closed out. So it's really, I mean, they're a good applicant.
Yeah, I do. I mean, just as comment on that, there have been some reductions in numbers recently, like in employees, it's reduced by 500 since the last application. That's quite a large reduction. So, but, you know, that beside, yes, they do close out, they get their contracts in at 100%, and we appreciate that. But it does always seem a worry when we're seeing numbers decline.
You want to speak to
I was
that?
going to say, I'm happy to speak to that.
Yeah.
So, I think that, so just so you're aware, that number represents our entire California workforce that is not specific to our Novato site. I would say it's a risk-laden business being in biopharmaceuticals and also in biopharmaceutical manufacturing. And we are growing once again. BioMarin is in the process of acquiring Enzyme Pharma, which has a candidate to treat it's EMPP1, deficiency. So I think we're back on the right trajectory now this year. I mean, there are many federal headwinds at the moment that I'm sure you've seen in the news that make our industry that we have to respond to say the least. But we are back on a growth trajectory, and we are committed to maintaining our manufacturing here in California.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion to approve BioMarin Pharmaceutical, Inc. in a ETP funding amount of up to $599,760 with the caveat that the productive lab component is reduced to no more than 30 hours per average of employees, and that the curriculum for productive lab be updated.
Second.
Any public comment on this proposal?
Sorry, just so I'm clear on the curriculum revisions, are we asking that the productive lab curriculum is simplified?
I'm asking for staff, sorry,
Yeah,
adding
no,
to the
please,
motion,
go
I'm
ahead.
asking for staff and our applicant to work together to better reflect the productive lab curriculum for what it actually is for when it's a productive lab.
Okay.
Because at this point, it may not be exactly productive lab.
Okay, thank you.
Any public comment?
There are no public comments online.
There are none in the room that I can see, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right, so we all voted in favor, so the motion's adopted.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'd like to thank staff, Karen Mann, Philip Boy, all of the team that's done a great job of this. It's really an honor to work with BioMarin. This is Sophie Weissman. She works with me now, so we'll be seeing more of her. Thank you.
All right, panel members, please turn to tab 17. This is a proposal for Crisp Company. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $452,200 to train approximately 190 workers. And training will take place at their locations in Alameda, Fresno, San Bernardino, San Joaquin, Ventura, and Yolo counties. Representatives are here to answer any questions.
Hi, good morning. My name is Mike with the Crisp Company, and I facilitate all the training for all of our locations throughout California. And I do want to say thank you guys very much for the funding you have provided previously. It has been put to great use. As you probably know, we do road striping, meaning we're on the highways, freeways, city streets, residential areas, you name it. If there's a street, our crews can be there. And so the funding has gone previously towards our field staff, helping them learn the safety parts of their jobs, the equipment they use, the processes. Our main goal is keeping our guys safe. That is our bottom line. And with the funding you have provided, it has definitely helped us, advance in that area. The funding we're doing now, we'd like to propose is for our office staff, our operations, our sign shop, our mechanics, all the people who support our work out in the field. We have a lot of processes in place, and due to the things we've learned over the course of our previous contracts, we're now really incorporating those things we've learned into our office operations to help support the field. Kind of, circular. One hand helps the other one. And for us, this funding will help us improve our safety and overall, because we do work on the streets, supporting the infrastructure of California. It's a win-win for everybody. Please, if you have any questions, please.
Any questions?
Okay. So Jill, welcome back. This one, you're traditionally construction oriented, but this contract is more manufacturing.
Correct. This is basically the support of the field operations, the manufacturing of the materials that we need, the trucks, everything that we use in the field.
Okay. And so you do list a certain number for installation staff. I believe you're union signatory. Are you
Okay,
not?
so with this contract, this is not involving our union whatsoever.
No,
We are
whatsoever. So
correct.
the
We are-
installation staff is not involving them either?
The field crew are, but the office staff are not.
Okay. But where it says installation staff, like that's field crew, correct?
Well, their field crew are stripers, they're painters out there. The installation crew is not, I don't. believe
Is
that's right.
not?
No.
Okay. Like that extra clarification. Thank you.
So we have no union involvement in this one. It's truly the back of house
Okay.
support is what I'm hearing.
Yes.
Okay. And manufacturing and office. Okay.
Any other questions, comments? No?
Motion to approve Crisp Company in an ETP funding amount of $452,200.
Second.
All right. Any public comment on this proposal before we move to vote? None in the
There are
room?
no public comments online.
All right, so we'll move to vote.
Douglas Tracy,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Mike Hill,
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty, so we all voted in favor, so the motion's adopted and you're funded.
Thank you. And our staff appreciate it. Thank you to Jill for all her help and support and your support as well. We do appreciate it. Have a great day.
All right, panel members, we are on to tab 18. This is a proposal for Clark Western Dietrich Building Systems LLC. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $431,200 to train approximately 280 workers. Training will take place at 3 locations in Woodland, Carlsbad, and Riverside, and representatives are here to answer any questions.
Hi, good morning. My name is Eric King. I'm the plant manager at Clark Western Dietrich Building Systems in Woodland. I really appreciate your previous support, and I really appreciate the consideration of our current fund. I'm here to answer any questions you have.
Thank you and welcome. Anyone have any questions or comments on this proposal?
Okay, I'm sorry. Motion.
I wasn't sure. I thought you were
No.
scrolling and I was checking before I asked anyone because I was like, there was a
Multitasking.
scroll. Oh, there.
Motion to approve Clark Western Dietrich Building Systems LLC in an ETP funding amount of $431,200.
Second.
Any public comment on this proposal? Not seeing any in the room, any online?
There are no public comments online.
All right, then we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy,
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill,
Aye.
Mike Hill, Gretchen Newsom,
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty, so the motion's adopted. We're all in favor. The funding's yours.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right, we are moving
Hang on
on.
1 sec. It's not operating correctly. You can either share or I'm sure Stefan will find you. Oh, look. Are the other ones working, not working? Oh, that one.
Let me try it. Now it's working.
Oh, I can hear Mike. Hey.
All righty, we are moving on to LNS Framing, Inc. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $206,640 to train approximately 180 workers. Training will take place at their location in Rockland, and representatives are here to answer any questions.
Hello, good morning. My name is Edgar Avalos. I'm HR manager for LNS Framing. I'd like to thank you for your allowing us to participate in the past and as well as for your time today to consider us today.
Thank you. Any questions from panel on this proposal?
Are you utilizing an apprenticeship model to train your carpenters?
In the past, we were, but this one, because of the wage change, unfortunately, we won't be able to, well, the training will trickle down to the carpenters, but we won't be able to include their training in the program because of the wage.
Okay, so no apprentices in this. This carpenter is not being paid a prevailing. Okay.
Correct. It's
Got it.
more for the managers and providing them training on the new processes, which will trickle down to the workforce.
Right, but you've got the bulk of it are carpenters, 100 of them.
Correct.
I'm going to pull on prior performance just as it's been a hotbed today on that. So your last contract was sitting at 77%. One before was fantastic. You were at 96% running into the pandemic, which was, pretty good from 18 to 20. The 22 to 24 one, you were you netted out at 77%. Looking forward to this contract, I know you've used subcontractors. I know, those components. What are we doing differently or plan to do differently to go back up to that nice 96 versus a 77?
Well, with this one, since we're targeting more of our managers, we have a lot less turnover in that category. So a lot of that was due to turnover and a little bit because of COVID.
So some of it was turnover and retention.
Correct.
Training. Okay. So we're focused on a different audience this time, and I hope that we are able to retain. All right.
Correct. Yeah, we've had a lot less turnover in our management on the staff than we have with our lower level staff.
Okay, fantastic. All right. Any other questions?
And can I just comment that we did right size as well?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Thank you.
Okay, motion to approve LNS framing for an ETP funding amount of $206,640.
Second.
All right. Do I have any public comment before we move to vote?
There are no public comments online.
All right. There's none in the room. We shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy. Aye. Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty. We all voted in favor, so the motion is adopted and you're funded for this round.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, we are moving on. Tab 20, Motivo Engineering LLC. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $151,200 to train approximately 90 workers. Training will take place at their locations in Rancho Dominguez, Rancho Santa Maria, and Redondo Beach, and representatives are here to answer any questions.
Good morning. My name is Alan Goad. I am the CEO of Motivo Engineering. We are a hard tech engineering firm that does prototypes and builds, complex machinery and stuff, usually 5 to 7 years before the public knows it exists. We did the first eVTOL. We did lots of space, lots of medical, lots of industrial robotics, and automation in the automotive space.
Fantastic. Any questions from the panel on this proposal?
Yes, you have clearly stated your starting salaries for your trainees and workers, but I'm not getting a good sense of what their wage progression looks like as it relates to either a percentage or an actual amount. Can you talk to me about that, please?
Yeah, we try to target around 5%. It's hard because
Annually? Annually?
Annually, yes. It's hard to put an exact number on it because we are in the hard tech engineering space where we're doing prototypes and design, bleeding edge technology. And so as our people, learn new skills and those skills translate into industries, it can grow substantially past that.
Okay, got it. It's been a learning opportunity today, hasn't it? Yeah, okay.
Any other questions or comments from the panel?
Motion to approve Motivo Engineering LLC and an ETP funding amount of $151,200.
Second.
Any public comments on this proposal?
There are no public comments online.
And then there seem to be none in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right, so we all were in favor, so the motion's adopted and you're funded.
Thank you so much.
welcome.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we are moving on to PTI Technologies, Inc. They are a repeat contractor requesting $228,340 in funding to train approximately 233 workers. Training will take place at their location in Oxnard, and representatives are here for questions.
Hello, panel members. My name is Thea Wilcox. I'm representing PTI. We are a manufacturing company in the aerospace industry located in Oxnard. My title is HR Lead in Special Projects, and I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
All right, thank you. Any questions, comments from anyone?
Same question as the last applicant on wage progression. I can see your starting wages, but I want to hear more about the wage progression.
Thank you. So it'd be 3 to 5% for the annual performance. That's the standard. At that time, they're also up for 6 to 12% increase if they do get a promotion or they change their rates, meaning moving from operator 1 to 2 or 3.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions before I go for one? You guys may have the same question as me. So we've had a lot of words around this today. Last contract was obviously not as successful as some. It was a sense of people getting trained, but we netted out at 69% on performance. Can you give us some concepts of what are you doing to do differently this time in a hope to be a higher performer in the recoup of this contract?
During the first contract, we were able to set up some best practices. So ETP rosters are really a part of our company now. They're in every conference room. They're talked about all the time. Another thing we're going to be doing a little differently this time is having standard department meetings to track progress and hold department heads responsible and accountable too.
Thank you. Any other questions of anyone or any further on that? No? It doesn't have to be you. It can be anyone. I mean, there's several
Okay,
others.
motion to approve PTI Technologies, Inc. in an ETP funding amount of $228,340.
Second.
All right. First and a second, do we have any public comments? Any public comments?
There are no public comments online.
All right. And there are none in the room. We will move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Bancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right. So we are all in agreement. The motion's adopted and you are funded.
Thank you very much.
And we just won't give Gretchen chocolate next time, you know.
She got those numbers out quick though on the motion.
She did. She was eyeing up that piece of chocolate and like, can she eat it in the time frame that it was?
Hangry.
Yeah.
All right. We're on tab 22 for Synergy Enterprises, Inc., DBA Synergy Companies. They are a repeat contractor requesting $289,800 to train approximately 207 workers, and training will take place at their 5 locations located in Fresno, Stockton, San Leandro, and Visalia. Representatives are here for any questions.
Great, thank you. Thank you for considering our proposal, and almost good afternoon. And I'm David Price. I'm a general manager with Synergy Companies. I've been with them for over 40 years. We are a contractor working in the weatherization and environmental and space. We do a lot with the utility companies, mainly the IOUs, in their decarbonization efforts, and also with the fire control, installing panels and other things, to be able to help in maintaining their, especially those who have medical issues, and working, statewide and with SMUD doing their decarbonization programs as well. Questions?
Thank you. Anyone got questions on this proposal?
You are outside of the pipeline for wage progression and fringe benefits, but I did have a question for you. I was looking down at who your training vendors are, and I just wanted to make sure that this is correct, that one of your training or 2 of your training vendors are utility companies, PG&E and SoCal Edison. I was always of the mind that they would pay you and that we're not paying them to provide the training. So what's going on there?
I wish that were true.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so in some of the low-income programs, especially their ESA programs, there's mandatory training that they do the training, but we have to pay our people to go take the classes. In addition to that, they have PG&E, SoCalGas, SoCalEd offer additional training courses having to do with decarbonization and heat pump water heaters and all of that. That training is free as far as a lot of the modules that they do, but we do have to pay our people to attend.
Thank you.
All right, so I'm going to go to prior. We sat at 65% last time. I see some notes in here in the 130 about what happened. Can you give us some guidance of how you're planning to execute this time round to ensure success? What's been put in place? What type of things are you doing to just really ensure that success or plan to do?
You bet, and thank you for bringing that up. Our first go-round was great. I think we were at 100%.
I do often go back to the old ones as well. So sometimes it's like you see one and you're like, something happened, and you're like, I still want to know, because it's like
Before this, under
that
the
was
parent
100.
company, Eagle
Yeah.
Enterprise, I think that was 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's salt in my wound. We had actually the controller over that was doing it for us, decided to get married and have kids, and her. And
and some of us are like, we don't want to get back to work, and some of us like, get us out the house.
And good for her. Cute little kids too, by the way. But the person that we hired to take her place, who's no longer with us, unfortunately, just did not do the paperwork correctly, like she did, and so we left a lot of training that we actually did on the table. We have a new administrator who's awesome. And we feel very, very confident in her abilities. And I'm going to be watching that store a lot closer.
As will we.
I was going to say, for Jill to let it go is not always a good thing, I know.
But the person that trained this new person, I think did 3 different ETP contracts very successfully. Back in the day, she was with Bell Brothers, and she's amazing.
So you got an easy job then, Jill.
You bet.
We're going to make her job easy.
Good. Make it work. Make it work. We haven't seen her for a while. We're going to give her a hard time. We haven't seen
That's
her,
true
right?
too.
It's been a while, Jill. It's, so.
This has been a slow year for ETP. Or for us.
I was going to say, yeah, we haven't seen much of you. So make her work. She's not been as busy as before.
I stand corrected. We will help her work.
Exactly. It's the partnership between. All right, fantastic. Any other questions, comments?
Motion to approve Synergy Enterprises, Inc., DBA Synergy Companies, ETP contract number 25-0276 in the amount of $289,800.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comments?
There are no public comments online.
And it looks like none in the room, so we'll move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right, so we all voted in favor. The motion's adopted and you're funded.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you very much.
All right, moving on to tab 23. This is a proposal for Vision Care Center, a medical group, Inc. They are a repeat contractor requesting $95,844 in training to train approximately 163 workers. And training will take place at their locations in Fresno, Clovis, and Selma. Representatives are here to answer any questions you may have.
Good morning. My name is Sandy Brown. I am the CEO of Vision Care Center. We're a optometry practice, multi locations located in the Central Valley.
All right, thank you. Any questions from panel on this proposal? I guess I go to the same as we've had with many, is like looking at prior, and I know some of it's COVID related. What are we putting in place just to ensure that success of this one? You knew it was coming.
I'm very glad you asked that question. I'm relatively new to healthcare. I'm actually a finance person, and we have put into place that training is a lot cheaper than rehiring. Training and retention are directly proportional to one another. So this is something that we are absolutely dedicated to, committed to, making sure that we are giving our people a fair wage and that we are training them, because we know that statistics say you train them, you pay them well, and you keep them around, and we're going to have a lot less retention. So we realize that we fell short. COVID had something to do with it, but I don't want to die on that hill. We have to do better, and we're committed to doing that.
Fantastic. Any other questions, comments from anyone?
Motion to approve Vision Care Center, a medical group, Inc., in an ETB funding amount of $95,844.
Second.
Any public comments on the proposal?
There are no public comments online.
And there are none in the room. We shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Bettencourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so we're all in agreement. You're approved and the motion's passed.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, that's it for the single employers that are not agriculture. So we're going to move on to the multiple employer contractors. So if you turn to tab 24, this is a proposal from Fourth Watch Educational Services, DBA Machinist Career College. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $848,750 to train approximately 350 workers. Training will take place at the participating employers' locations throughout Southern California, and the representatives are here to answer any questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Danielle Skinner, founder, president of Machinist Career College, Fourth Watch Educational Services, doing business as Machinist Career College. I was formerly the president of NTMA Training Centers. I then founded Fourth Watch and acquired NTMA Training Centers and changed the names to Machinist Career College. We are here, thankful, very grateful for ETP. The reason why I had the confidence to acquire Machinist Career College is because of this funding and because of Marcy Correa. Hi, Marcy. Who has held this program on her back since 1999. She is the reason why we've been at 100% every time someone is caught. We've been up here, and I'm just so grateful for her and grateful for all of you for supporting what we do.
Thank you. Any questions from anyone on this or comments?
So I think we're going to have a continued broader discussion at policy committee related to MECs and in compliance with 1321 and how we ask about wage progression and fringe benefits. I mean, it's really difficult for a MEC to be able to.
And I knew when we responded to the question, you weren't asking about our organization's benefits. But I did want to respond and say something. So I did list what we do as far as our organization and how we compensate the people who work to make sure we train these people.
Right.
But yes, well, we kind of have strict guidelines when it comes to our employers, though. They have to be at a certain wage. They have to progress them once they complete the training, because our training is stacked. So they're already working in the field as machinists. So if they learn to be an inspector, if they learn advanced CNC, if they learn advanced Mastercam, if they learn 5-axis, we expect those wages to climb based on those new stacked certs that they're receiving through our program.
So I think I'd like to have staff do a kind of a educational inquiry with you afterwards for how we can guide ourselves through this process with the MECs. I think looking through the rest of your proposed contract, you might hold the record for number of employers participating.
Yes.
Announced that they're participating.
Announced.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, announced.
Or whatever we want to call it on the record.
On the record, I've never seen more than that. And I'm
38 pages for those that.
Yes.
Run max, 38 pages.
Yeah, we have over 900 employer partners. In our last contract, it was 132 employers involved and over 328 people trained.
Okay, thank you for not listening all 900.
Will not.
But I did want you to, we're going through a process at policy committee with our MECs. If you could elaborate on your relationship with those participating employers, that would be very helpful.
Absolutely. So that's one of the strengths of Machinist Career College is that relationship that we build. And again, that credit goes to Marcy. She's been working with these employers for over 20 years. They have our back completely. We've applied for grants. We reach out to employers. Hey, we need support letters. We get a flood of 50. Like it's never any question the employers know that we are helping them be able to retain and maintain and grow their employees. And they also appreciate our entry-level program, not in discussion, but it also brings more interested parties who may not know what machinist is, not their fault, to the industry. That's much needed. We're going to need over 300,000 machinists by 2026. So we're here to fill those gaps. And my passion is support the communities that need it most and need this training and don't know it exists.
I guess I have a two-sided question here.
Sure.
One of them is when I look at this long list, and I kind of goes to the educational piece of what we've been talking about at policy, is do you see every single one of these will actually be in this contract? So when you're coming into this contract, are you confident that every one of these 38-paged employers are coming to the table? Or is this a projection that they will potentially come to the table?
These are
Does
all
that make
employees.
sense?
Yes, these are all employers we have worked with at some capacity when it comes to their employees getting trained at our facility over the years of our inception and how long we've been. We originally were established in 1968. So it's kind of longevity there is the reason why that list is so deep. But we do have no less than 200 that I can say right now will send us people once we say
This
got
is
the
a,
contract.
these are ones who may come to the table. They're not the ones that are like, we are 100% the ones that you're
Right,
funding.
because they may not need our services over the next year and a half. But we definitely always complete our contract before it's over. So if not every one of them, almost, it's definitely, it's never an issue.
And when looking at websites, there were a few things around apprenticeships on the website. I just want to make sure this fund is not going to apprenticeships, correct?
It's not, but I wish we could apply for it, but no. So our apprenticeship program is completely separate. It's a completely separate batch of employers also because our students get placed with employers after the 5th month of their training. It's a competency-based apprenticeship. So they do all their hands-on training at our campus for 5 months and 3 days. And then we do our employer match and place them with an employer as an entry-level employee. So they typically start off as machine operators, not quite at the machinist level. But then those employers, after they finish their 2 years of their apprenticeship program, they can send them to our ETP program, which is.
So this is much more incumbent worker training.
Exactly.
Improving skills.
Exactly. The program in question is, yes, it's improving skills, making way for the newbies that we're going to also.
So the incumbent workers love it.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Any other questions, comments?
Motion to approve Fourth Watch Educational Services DBA Machinist Career College and an ETP funding amount of $848,750.
Thank you so much. God bless you
Okay.
all. Have a great rest of your day.
Hang on, we haven't approved yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was ready to go. Okay. They turned the air to Chicago winter in here, so I'm freezing.
I've got a second. I heard a second. I now have to go to public comment. I've got to keep real or I get in trouble.
There are no public comments online.
And there look like there's no one in the room on public comment. There's still people sitting in the room, but no public comment. We will move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill. Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so we all were in alignment and we all approved. So you are approved for funding.
Thank you all. Have a blessed
You're
rest of your
welcome.
day. Enjoy your weekend.
Thank you.
All right, panel members, we are moving on to tab 25. This is the San Francisco Workforce Development Board. They are a repeat contractor with good prior performance, requesting $482,300 in funding to serve approximately 65 pre-apprentice new hire trainees. Please note that the narrative cites that the trainees will receive training in electrical, plumbing, and forklift topics, but that is not correct. They will not receive training in those topics. Training under this proposal will take place at the City Build Academy location to prepare participants to enter into a registered apprenticeship program in the construction trades. Their program placement into apprenticeship programs is over 80%. Representatives from the Workforce Development Board are here to answer any questions.
Good afternoon, panel members. My name is Janet Gomes. I do work for the Office of Economic and Workforce Development in San Francisco under the City Build Division, and I'm an operations manager, and I'm here to answer your questions.
Thank you and welcome. Any questions from anyone on this proposal?
Can I hear great things about what you're doing up there. Just fabulous job. And I want you to keep doing it. I did note that you included in here a reference to tradeswomen build. And I wanted to inquire, are you sending these trainees to the Tradeswomen Build Nations conference at all? Or are they eligible for that possibly?
They would be eligible.
Okay, perfect. I highly encourage your participation in that. Some folks are shying away from that, given what's happening elsewhere, not in the state of California. It's an excellent conference for them to attend.
Thank you.
Any other questions from anyone or comments?
Motion to approve San Francisco Workforce Development Board and an ETP funding amount of $482,300.
Second.
All right. Any public comment? I had to wake up there.
There are no public comments online.
All right. And there are no public comments in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All right. So we're all in favor. So the motion's adopted and you're funded.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alrighty, we are moving on to the agriculture projects. So if you turn to tab 26, this is a proposal for Coast King Packing LLC, DBA Queen Victoria Coast View Ippolito International LP. I do want to make one correction on the proposal. You'll notice that the DBA is listed as Cost View. That is actually Coast View, and we will make that correction on the contract, and I wanted to cite that here. They are a new contractor requesting $589,680 to train a total approximately 390 workers. As this is an ag project, the company is committed to helping its workers advance in the agriculture industry, and training will take place at their locations in Gonzales and Salinas, and representatives are here for any questions.
Hello. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Joseph Malabox. I'm the Vice President of Human Resources. I'm here to answer any questions. I will jump the gun and say that we give 3% raises every year. And our benefits are free to our employees.
Fantastic. Any questions, comments on this proposal?
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, okay? Motion to approve Coast View King Packaging LLC, DBA Queen Victoria Coast View Ippolito International LP. Did I do that? Okay, good. In a ETP funding amount of $589,680.
Second.
All right. Any public comment?
There are no public comments online.
And there is no one in the room comes to the podium, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
All righty, so we're all in favor. The motion's adopted and you're funded.
Thank you all very
you.
much.
Thank you.
Can I give this to Gretchen? Kind bar.
Not allowed to accept gifts, but thank you.
This company name's a little bit easier to say. I think you'd be glad to know. Tab 27, Man Packing Co. Inc. They are a repeat contractor requesting $193,104 to train approximately 149 workers. This is an agriculture initiative project, and they will expand their workforce while increasing access to training programs for career advancement into higher paying jobs. Training will take place at their location in Gonzales, and representatives are available to answer any questions.
I'm going to use this one because I'm very short. Good afternoon. My name is Betty Diana Camacho. I'm Senior Analyst at Man Packing. It's a manufacturing company. We manufacture raw product for consumer use. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer any of them.
Does anyone have? I have one, but I don't know if anyone else does. So your productive lab hours, I think we're on a bit of productive lab kick today. are showing slightly higher than normal. Can you give me an idea of the sort of things that you're training people on with Productive Lab, the process? Because 40 hours are higher than what we usually see.
Sure. So we actually have a union contract, which requires that our machine operators or anybody on a job position that is not general labor get more training than our entry-level jobs. So we do have 12 machines, and our contract requires that we give each or the employees that are applying for those positions at least a week per machine to allow them to learn, because they are all custom machines to the product and require different skills. Also for mechanics, they all, when they enter into the position, it requires them to have that one-on-one training for productive lab.
And so equipment is still running, pieces are still being produced. Is it sort of like I'm going to say a set curriculum they're going through, or is it dependent on what's happening on that run at that time?
It depends on what they're producing at the time. So they do need to have somebody there teaching them constantly how to run that machine.
Okay.
This sounds like productive lab.
Yeah. Are we good for 40 hours?
It makes sense to me, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just check. All right. Any other questions, comments on this proposal?
Motion to approve Mann Packing Company, Inc., ETP contract number 25-0260 in the amount of $193,104.
Second.
All right. Do we have any public comment?
There are no public comments online.
Any in the room? Does not look like it, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
So we are all in favor, so the motion's adopted and you're funded.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to recuse myself for the next one.
If I may, Gretchen, just very quickly before this amendment, and I meant to do this earlier, you'll see we have about 27 projects in the packet today and some that are still going through our process for this fiscal year. I just want to give a big shout out to our programs teams for getting all of these to you. They have been working really hard over the last couple of weeks, and we would not exist without them. So I meant to do that earlier. I am remiss. My apologies, but hats off to staff. We have a great team. So
you guys do indeed.
You guys are the best.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now you may recuse.
Need to make sure she had that bit.
I wanted everyone to hear.
Yeah, it is. It's a very true statement. When I opened this one, I saw so many for May. I was like, we've been working hard.
Yeah, we have. And as I said, there are some others going through under delegation. So the team worked hard. So.
It's always a heavy one right at the end of the year before that 1 month break. That kind of, yeah.
Yep, it does happen. You know, we're kind of acclimated to it, but the team still works hard. So, okay. Here before you, tab 28, final proposal, and then you do not have to hear from me anymore for the rest of the day. We have Butte Glen Community College District. This is an amendment, and it is in response, as Dr. Grimes mentioned in her opening remarks, to fire mitigation and the park fire emergency cleanup. And Butte is requesting the following: to redistribute funds and trainees between job number 3 to job numbers 1, 2, and 4. They are adding a union-supported occupation to job number 2. And with this amendment, they are requesting a retroactive date of March 1st, 2024 for reimbursement of training hours, which have already been committed. And Annie Rafferty is here to answer any questions you all may have.
All right. Well, good afternoon. Thank you very much, panel members. My name is Annie Rafferty, and I'm the director of our Butte Glen Community College District in our workforce training. And so we are grateful for the opportunity to partner and provide rapid response to our community. Since this contract was established from 2023 to 2025, we have shifted from a CNA focused contract, which was a lower wage, and in the spirit and the direction for which the questions have occurred through today, we shifted to union positions and developing that partnership with the utility sector. And so post Camp Fire is when this initiative actually started. And since then, if we think about the fires in the North State, they evolved from Camp Fire during this contract. This was in response to the North Complex Fire and the Mosquito Fire, which equals about 400,000 acres of impact. And then during this contract, the Thompson Fire, the Apache Fire, and the Park Fire occurred. So Butte County is now a designated bioeconomy opportunity zone. And so with that, our focused effort, I'm a member of that task force. We've renamed it from a biomass task force to a clean energy task force so that we can continue as a college to be part of the community and provide rapid response. And we're doing that together. So I'm grateful that this opportunity in moving towards the conversation that we can even have in our next contract is that we do have a prescribed ability with the union wage schedule to share how the upskilling throughout the term of a contract can help in that wage progression. And so these union positions there was a change also in the system that happened during this contract with the Cal E-Force and calling out the occupations. So that also provides us greater insight to show what our impact as a community college MEC can provide rapid response. And we're doing that together to keep our communities safe. I can say that also as a member of the Butte County Collaborative Group, which is our forestry group that contributes to the Community Wildfire Protection Plan, the CWPP goes out every 5 years. There is a small portion of the map that actually looks like a butterfly that is left in the North State that is an untouched area. So I see us moving from rapid response to mitigation very quickly, and this contract reflects that. So we greatly appreciate the opportunity to review this amendment today, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Annie. Any questions on this or any comments on this change of gear, shift of lens? I think to me, it's sounding like it's it makes some absolute sense given what's been happening up there and the response to it. So I don't know if anyone else has any thoughts, any comments.
I understand it's a very dynamic situation, very critical. The only question I have is a retroactive date. Is it March of 2024?
So that's when thank you for your question. We submitted our union letters of support and we provided that, and that's where the retroactive date is. What often happens with a MEC is we then forecast in the beginning of our project of where we anticipate the needs to be. So this shift from a CNA to an arborist, traditionally, so this is our 9th contract with Butte College, and we traditionally re-perform at 100%. So 6 of those 9 are at 100%. The others are an average of 80% because they were earlier on in our experience. And what we have found is that it's important for us, while we may anticipate a forecast, it may not completely come to fruition. So if we're submitting amendments all the way through, they may not actually come, and it creates a lot of rework for staff. So what happens is we then work locally, determine how much of that shift is going to happen, and then towards the end of the contract, we then review. That's one comment. The second is also that the occupational changes that happened during this contract is a new process for us. So there's 2 factors that lead to how a MEC operates in support of the local upskilling need or reskilling.
So does this sort of guarantee success then?
I'm sorry?
Right. So I think what's being asked, Annie, is the reason for the retroactive dating has to do with performance, right? Because you were doing rapid workforce response,
Yes.
right? And so the retroactive means that you switched from the CNA to the utility arborist.
That's
and
correct.
At that point, from March 1st, 2024?
Yes, that's when we started the training.
Right. So that training has been completed.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes, we're at 132% of our contract.
I think that's one of the questions he's getting at.
Yes, so we're at 132% of our contract. Thank you. Appreciate the clarifying question.
Any other questions or comments? No? All righty. Do I have a motion to approve this amendment?
Motion to approve amendment proposal number 2 for Butte Glen Community College District, contract number ET 24-0136
Second.
with the retroactive date of March 1st, 2024 for panel meeting, May 30th, 2025. Correct?
Second.
And a second. Okay, I was looking at Kamani's like nodding his head. I was making sure that motion was completely correct. Yeah. Yeah.
We're good.
So we're good. So I got a first, I've got a second, I've got legal approving that what we put in that motion was right before we move forward to public comment and the rest of the procedure. So any public comment on this, I'm going to say amendment, yeah, on this amendment.
There are no public comments online.
And they look like there are none in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom. Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so we're all in favor, so the motion's adopted, so the amendment can go.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your
welcome.
support. Thank you.
Annie. We're switching to presentations. And we're getting presentations and then I should go and look at the agenda, shouldn't I? It's policy committee first, so it's going over to Liz for her motion to items. All right, Liz, the floor is yours. Here she is. She's been waiting so patient.
I'm here. Thank you. Give me 1 second to find, I have to send a request so I can share my screen.
Okay, you should be good to go, Liz.
Okay. Has it shared?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Excellent. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I will try to be quick. I do have the next two agenda topics are for you, action items, approving some changes to some guidelines. We've been engaged in a comprehensive review of all of our pilots and guidelines. That's a requirement in our legislation in 10205I. At the April Policy Committee meeting, we reviewed the Veterans Guidelines, which provides support, information to support and include this population in ETP contracts. The changes or updates to the Veterans Guideline, which committee approved and have brought here before you today for approval, are as follows. And if anyone likes, I also have a copy of the actual guidelines to display if you would like that. What we're changing in the Veterans Guidelines was a quick cleanup of the guidelines for punctuation and grammar. We removed all references to the retrainee job creation program, which was discontinued. We made sure that all references to any ETP contacts or forms or other references were correct because some of the information in there was outdated. We're also moving to give funding priority to all projects with a veteran component. And we're also going to ensure that veterans receive the highest reimbursement rate. With that, I would like to request a motion to approve the revised draft of the Veterans Guidelines. If you would be so kind.
All righty, thanks, Liz. Does anyone have any questions of that before we go into?
I just want to say we've had a few contract proposals today that did promise that they're going to be hiring different veterans, usually ranging in the amount of 6 new veterans that are going to be hired. Just like to encourage the audience and the contractors and consultants to take a look now at our revised guidelines that are prioritizing this. And if you feel, we encourage you to include a job line item for veterans. And shout out to former panel member Ali Twybe. And I'd like to move a motion to approve the revised draft of the Veterans Guidelines.
Second.
Thank you. Any public comments?
There are no public comments online.
There are none in the room, so we shall move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Bettencourt,
Aye.
Ricky Smiles,
Aye.
Mike Greenlee,
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so those are approved, and I would echo Gretchen's sentiment. I think when we pulled data, we were surprised at how few are truly in that veterans program, so we would love to see more. All right, Liz, passing it back to you.
Great, thank you so much. Next up is another approval for some guidelines, which have until this moment been known as the ex-offender at-risk youth guidelines. Again, we heard these at the April Policy Committee meeting, and we are revising them. Here are the changes we're making to those programs, or that program, excuse me. First, general cleanup for grammar and punctuation. We would like to change the name of the program to the Justice Involved Opportunity Youth Guidelines. This is a move that will align us with the wider labor agency terminology. We're also adjusting what is considered full-time work for this population from 30 hours to 35 hours per week. Regarding wages, all trainees in this program will meet whatever wage is relevant to their population. Previously, everyone was held only to the new hire wage. So now, if you guys approve this, they will be held to whatever wage that they should have normally. So if they're a new hire, they get the new hire wage, a retrainee would get the retrainee wage, etc. In other words, standard wages apply. However, we've added in an additional benefit or option that contractors may request a lower wage level if they have sufficient justification, and that will be subject to panel approval. We're also allowing life skills training along with basic and literacy skills training at a maximum of 50% of the training curriculum. And we would also like to give funding priority to all projects that have a justice involved opportunity youth component. Previously, they were only given priority status if they had a pre-apprenticeship component, but now we'd like to expand that to any justice involved at-risk youth components. I am requesting a motion to approve the changes to these guidelines as outlined here, and I'd be happy to take any questions if you have any.
Any questions or comments for Liz on this?
Thank you, Liz, for everything that you've done. I'd like to make a motion to approve the revised draft of the Justice Involved Opportunity Youth Guidelines.
Second.
All right, any public comments on this?
There are no public comments online.
All right, so we do not have any in the room. We will move to vote.
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom.
Aye.
Rebecca Bettencourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Aye.
Alrighty, so we were all in favor. So the amendments have been made to that.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And everyone, please be careful with the crazy heat.
I'm being given direction. I'm not always good at following it, but I'm going to follow this one. I'm being told we need to take a 10-minute break. So back here at 12:46, based on the clock on that screen. Yes? Yes, okay. Back at 12:46. All right. Mike's keeping me accountable and keeping us on track so we can hopefully, not that I don't love being around you guys on a Friday afternoon, but you know, it's been a long morning. So, and I've got people who need flights and I don't know what, they're all making excuses to leave the party. I think they're all getting hungry as well. So we are going to move on to presentations, and it's the long awaited literacy and HWAF one that I think we've been looking forward to on an update. I'm handing it over.
All right, hello. My name is Ilya Launitz, the lead for the Workforce Literacy Pilot Program at ETP, and I'll be giving a brief update today. So the Workforce Literacy Pilot Program was created several years back, and it was designed to benefit immigrants, refugees, and other English language learners throughout the state, specifically with literacy skills and focusing on English skills as well as digital literacy and other basic literacy skills to get them to the level where they can then advance in a lot of different opportunities and ways. So we approved a total of $8,156,096 in active literacy contracts and currently have 28 contracts active. So a quick caveat with the numbers today is there are contractors that have more performance than what they've reported. So these numbers, have that caveat. Some of the performance might not look as good as it actually is, but I've spoken with some of them and they're in the process of getting those numbers in. But what we have reported so far, and a quick side note, there are, of the 28, 10 of the contracts are single employers and 18 are multiple employer contractors. And so of the numbers, we have an average of 66% into the contract terms, a total of 91,124 training hours reported, which is also a total of 1,884 trainees currently enrolled. And of those trainees, 424 have been placed already, as reported. The potential earnings thus far reported is $2,336,593. And the total actual earned is $534,151, which brings our average total performance to about 31%, which again has that caveat of it's actually higher, just it hasn't all yet been reported. A little bit additional information from here is with these programs, we have a little over a year left in the contracts. Most of them have been extended to June 30th of 2026. Of all the 28 contracts, 25 of them have submitted their revision requests to extend their contract as well as the other changes, and they have been approved. 2 of them have more recently submitted it. They're in the process. And the last one, I'm just waiting to hear back from them. So we're hoping that they'll also get that in. So all of them should have had those changes. I did hold, after the October panel meeting where those changes were approved, I did hold a roundtable with all the literacy contractors to go over the changes, inform them of their options, as well as go over best practices, some of the successes and challenges they were able to share. And since then, I've been working with them to connect those who are having challenges with those who are being more successful. I also have scheduled for later in June on the 25th, another roundtable with all the literacy contractors where again, with being a year out from that point, they'll be able to share their successes, their challenges, to really be able to make sure that everyone succeeds with these contracts. Any questions? All right.
My only one is, I'm assuming that extension is helping us to achieve. But if
Definitely.
we hadn't, we would have had not the great performance, given the numbers that I'm seeing here.
Definitely. Yeah. With this being a new program, some of the contractors already had literacy programs set up, and those are the ones that are kind of moving a little bit more successfully. But others, they've been creating their program as they've been going. And with it being a pilot to ETP, there's even new rules with that. So some of them have been having to kind of change and shift throughout as they've been going. And so that's where some of the delays are, but many of them are starting to perform better. And as you saw earlier, Total Organic has reported in and they're doing very well.
There's probably some good learnings for project management going forward of like new ones, what we could do differently.
Yeah.
And just to throw this out there, I'd love to see as kind of a foundational best practice item to consider sharing with our contractors and trainers immigrant rights of a very simple, like in their native language and in English to these are your immigrant rights, just so that we can all become accustomed to that.
Just to clarify, are you saying you would like for us to share with the contractors, maybe at that round table even to?
Yeah, a
move-
discussion of that.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you for your time.
All right. Next slide, please. The Healthcare Workforce Advancement Fund, known as HWAF, was designed to support career pathways and wage progression for entry-level health and human services workers. ETP approved a total of $19,718,095 in HWAF contracts. Next slide, please. Currently, there are 36 HWAF contracts, 24 single employer and 12 multiple employer contracts. We are roughly 56% into these contracts with an average total performance of 49%. And while the overall trend is below average, we do have 5 contracts that have already earned 100% performance, with 3 more projected to earn 100% performance. 7,683 trainees have been enrolled out of the 9,235 trainees that were anticipated based on the proposals, which means that the contractors have reached about 83% of their targeted audience thus far. Any questions? Oh, also, we are planning to do like literacy, a roundtable to connect the successful contractors with the less successful contractors to, encourage ideas and increase performance.
My only question is, do you feel we don't need to do any intervention like we did with literacy, or do you feel there needs to be an extension? Are you feeling good that they're going to close out more confidently in the period?
I'm feeling pretty good about this one.
Okay. Because the other one, we were not feeling good. That's why we had to do what we did. So I just wanted to double check. Any other questions from anyone or comments?
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment. I do notice that what is being reflected here is not the same as what we actually see in the panel packet. So the X's are actually filled with the information. So please refer to your panel packet for that information.
Thank you, get up. Okay, I'm going to open the floor to any any comments from the public on that on those 2 presentations, if anyone wants to.
Would you like me to read that data? I have it in front of me if it would be, okay.
I think you're okay.
Okay.
We have it. Someone else, they can find them online. Any public comment online?
There are no public comments online.
Okay, and there's no one in the room running to speak, so we will move on. All right, I'm passing it over to strategic. I think I'm passing it over to Nancy.
Thank you. We could pull up the annual report slides. All right, thank you, Stefan. Good afternoon, everyone, panel members and chair. Today I'll present the 2023-24 annual report. Big thanks to the Research Analytics Division for putting this report together. I'll be going over some achievement, key numbers from last fiscal year, and some inspiring success stories. Let's jump into the second slide. So since 1982, ETP has made a huge impact. For over 40 years, we funded over 102,000 businesses, trained and retained 1.6 million workers, and invested $2 billion since the beginning. Let's move on to our next highlights section slide. So here are some key highlights we accomplished last fiscal year. First is wage progression. ETP's mission of helping workers transition to a higher pay, more secure jobs was considered mission accomplished. Over the past fiscal year, trainees experienced an average wage increase of $2.62 after completing the training program, making an 8% improvement compared to the previous year. Next highlight is literacy training. ETP supports literacy training that includes reading, writing, language comprehension, math, and English as a second language. Thanks to ETP's funds, we teamed up with 8 additional contractors in comparison to the previous fiscal year, which gave 250 more workers vital skills in areas like agriculture, construction, manufacturing, and more. On to the next few slides for ETP's overall performance. Here you'll see a snapshot of the contracts approved by panel throughout the fiscal year. Our panel demonstrated its commitment by approving 307 contracts, funding over $99 million. Next slide. At the same time, we had 322 active contracts that were ongoing, which served over 75,000 trainees. Behind the scenes, our incredible ETP staff managed a total of 629 contracts last fiscal year. Thank you, ETP staff, for all your hard work. Next slide. For this annual report, we closed 282 contracts, which successfully trained and retained over 75,000 trainees. When comparing to the previous fiscal year, ETP did fund $27 million more and placed 33,000 more trainees in comparison. This boost was also thanks to the alternative funds that we received for Expansion Fund and the California Community College, which was also successfully closed. Those final reports are available on the ETP website. Next slide. ETP continues to support small businesses. In fact, 79% of our funding went directly to small businesses, and nearly over 50% of that was for really small businesses, for those under 50 employees. In this fiscal year, we did see a 146% increase in comparison, which is a fantastic growth of our small businesses in California to thrive. Next slide. Focusing on areas of high unemployment, ETP made significant strides. We trained 15,000 trainees thanks to $7 million in approved funding. This did result in an 83% jump in placed trainees in the high unemployment areas from last fiscal year. Next slide. If you recall, last month, ETP did present the NAICS priority industries along with EDD LMID. Here's how we did in the priority industries last fiscal year. Construction came out top as a top priority industry, where we funded $28 million, supporting over 3,200 businesses and training nearly 22,000 people. Following that was manufacturing that funded $19 million, reaching over 950 businesses, training over 26,000 trainees. Third was healthcare and social assistance, funding over $11 million. And then agriculture at $1.4 million, supporting almost 100 businesses. Next slide. Wage progression. We touched this in our highlight slides earlier. Here, again, we look at 2 points of data. We look at the wage enrollment when trainees start their training and wage at the end of their retention. As mentioned earlier, we did see that wage increase of $2.62 after the completion of the program, which was an 8% jump from the previous year. Let's shift over to trainee demographics. Next slide. So who did we serve last year? You could see in our pie chart, over half of our trainees were high school diploma or GED in the level of education. And to the right of that, the largest age group is the trainees in the age range of 25 to 30. Next slide. The creation of new jobs. Last fiscal year, we funded $14 million that went directly to create 6,900 new jobs. That's thousands of new opportunities for peoples and families. Now let's see our next slide on apprenticeship program. Here we're continuing to see great momentum. In apprenticeship, we approved $21 million in funding to train over 22,000 apprentices. Next slide. For the agriculture initiative, helping our farmers in the agricultural businesses, we approved over $2 million in funding across 10 agricultural initiative contracts. Next slide. As mentioned in our highlights earlier, we strongly support the literacy training that includes reading, writing, and math. We funded over $7 million in the workforce literacy pilot program, which estimated to train about 5,000 trainees. On to our next slide with veterans. This program empowers those who served our country with valuable skills for their next chapter. By investing here, we're not just helping veterans, but we're also strengthening our entire workforce. Here, we approved $289,000 in funding to help train over 200 veterans. Next slide. We're also focused on empowering justice-involved individuals that aim to transform their lives by providing skills for stable employment. To support this, we approved almost $350,000 in funding, which was estimated to train 159 trainees, opening doors and brighter futures for this population. Next slide. Okay, on to our success stories. So we'll start off with the first one with the MEC. That's a JATC with United Food and Commercial Workers, UFCW Local 5. ETP funded $287,000 in this contract, which estimated to train 103 trainees. You see on the picture there is Leah Tubbs, who started out at the food service at Rayleigh's and made her way to the meat department. With the assistance of UFCW Meat Apprenticeship Program and ETP funding, Leah took classes every Tuesday night for 9 months, and Leah did state, "The program teaches you to take pride in your work. They get you excited about your job." As a result of her completion of training, Leah was promoted to head meat cutter at Bel Air store in Roseville, California. Next slide. Another fantastic success story is from Professionals in Human Resources Association. Liliana Aguero shared that one of the organizations that received ETP funding leadership development included the leads. In this case, a high potential employee who participated in the training received her certificate of completion and was promoted to a management position. These are stories that ETP loves to hear. It's not just about skills, but also a real career advancement. Next slide. Third story is our National Veterans Chamber of Commerce. Through them, we funded over training for 100 trainees. I'm going to share a quote here from Joe Nell Bevington, HR Director at Allied Mechanical. This has helped several employees move up in our organization. They appreciated the company and this opportunity and learned valuable information to help them with their current work. This shows that our program empowers individuals and contribute to growth in the companies. Okay, on to our last success story. Let's take a look at impact at PARS Equality Center in Los Angeles through C2 grant program. PARS focus on serving aspiring entrepreneurs and micro small business owners among the Iranian and Afghan refugee and immigrant populations. Sarah Bagari of Rainjoy said it best, the support from PARS Equality Center was pivotal in our business outcomes through their workshops. We found avenues to fund our startup, and they guided our transition from an idea to a comprehensive and feasible business plan. This highlights how vital these support systems are in helping aspiring entrepreneurs and immigrant populations to turn their dreams into reality. Last slide is, so as we wrap this up, I hope that the ETP programs and initiatives, along with their success stories, did show an impact of what ETP is doing here during that fiscal year. Our annual report is posted on the website, along with the success stories, if you would like to read further. Again, thank you for your time, and I will leave it up to any questions or comments. If there are none, I could move on to the ETP strat plan.
Any questions? If I could just request as a sidebar at a future communication between yourself and myself, if I could understand from Ms. Leah Tubbs from UFCW Local 5, when she received that promotion, if she also received wage progression and how much that is. I'd love to see more stories of that, of the training is resulting in wage progression. Thank you.
Noted.
All righty, carry on.
All right. Moving on to our strat plan. Okay. All right, so ETP strategic plan, this is for 2024 to 2027, done by the Research Analytics Division team. Earlier, you saw ETP's performance of the annual report and the presentation. And so with this presentation, we're going to go through our mission and vision and what we want to achieve through our goals and objectives and the main areas of focus through this year. Next slide. So let's go ahead and jump right on into our mission and vision. Our mission is to team up with California businesses to not only create, but also keep high-wage jobs. We're dedicated to ensuring everyone has that fair access to training for career advancement. Our vision is to be that leading resource for workforce trainings, ones that results in both higher pay and meaningful job career. So what really drives us? It comes down to our core values. With our director's leadership and guidance, ETP has established 6 core values, which are communication, empathy, integrity, trust, respect, and accountability. With these principles in mind, let's go ahead and look at our goals and objectives in our next slide. Here you'll see that ETP has 5 goals and objectives to support California's workforce. First, we see California's workforce with sustainable and strong career pathways. What this means is that we're looking to develop strategies for quality, high-growth jobs, more training to address critical issues like climate change that impacts such as wildfire preparedness. As expanding our services with veterans, justice-involved individuals, and others facing employment barriers. Goal 2 supports ETP small businesses through public-private partnerships. An example of this would be our MEC contracts that give small businesses access to training funds, helping them grow and strengthening our economy. The third goal is contribution to California's success. We're strategic in our investment and training efforts and targeting training in high unemployment areas, preparing workers for future jobs in growing sectors that will create more jobs, stable, and a dynamic California economy. Our fourth goal is communication and engagement in internal operations. We're boosting employee innovation through teamwork, training, communication, and leadership. And then finally, we're also committed to innovation in technology and data to help improve employee efficiencies and the customer service experience. Next slide. So to make this all happen, we don't work alone. ETP does team up with a lot of key players across California. We partner up with Labor and Workforce Development Agency, the Governor's Office of Business and Economic Development, California Workforce Development Board, EDD, community colleges, and many others, both at the state and local level. By working together, we can combine our resources and efforts to really help businesses, industries, and individuals, which ultimately benefit California's economy. On to the next slide with priority industries. So we do continue to keep a close eye on what's happening in California's job market. Again, as mentioned before, we work with EDD LMID experts who track the job trends, growth areas, and wages. This data helps us understand what's most important to California's future. Each year, we use that data-driven information to help target training towards those industries that are important in the growing state. Next slide. In this slide, you'll see that this is a list of labor and ETP key focuses to help California's workforce. You'll notice that I also mentioned some of these programs in the annual report, and we're continuing to do so this year. First is our agriculture initiative to support job skills training for employers and seasonal workers. Another one is CNA to LVN career path. This helps meet the growing need for healthcare professionals, gives workers a clear way in advance in their nursing careers. And then other items here listed is supporting small businesses, apprenticeships, and veterans. If you'd like more information on these key focuses, they could be found on our ETP website. Next slide. ETP is working closely with the California Energy Commission for their clean transportation program. ETP is in collaboration with CEC making an investment in this effort. We have up to 2.7 million available through our Electrical Vehicle Infrastructure Training Program, EVITP fund. Through this partnership and this dedicated funding, we're actively building the workforce needed for the clean transportation in California. Next slide. And then our Economic Development Unit, EDU, is dedicated on making sure everyone knows that ETP is California's resource, go-to resource for workforce training in California, with California businesses. To do this, EDU actively participates in events around the state where they can connect with employers and workforce development boards. They focus on building strong relationships, making sure partners understand how ETP funding can help them. EDU also helps with existing partners and economic development groups that are working on things that we prioritize. EDU actively builds partnerships to spread word about ETP and key economic and workforce development initiatives. Thank you, EDU, for their continued hard work and their outreach efforts. Next slide. So that brings us to an end of our strategic plan presentation. Again, I really appreciate you guys listening in today. These slides are available on our ETP website on the May panel packet and will be posted to the ETP website upon labor agency's approval. With that, I'll open up to any questions or comments. And then afterwards, if I could get panel members to approve, that would be great as well.
All right. Any questions?
Going back to the slide on goals and objectives, I would be more than happy to make a motion to approve this if we substitute on the first goal and objective, support California's workforce with sustainable jobs and strong career paths, to make it support California's workforce with high wage jobs and strong career pathways.
Noted, thank you.
And with that, I make a motion.
Second.
Do we have any public comments? I'm not sure this is something we're voting, but I might be wrong. Okay.
There are no public comments online.
And there's none in the room. I don't have legal counsel to tell me, but I don't think this is a vote, is it? Not on the agenda as a vote, so I wanted to check before we put any form of motion in place or vote.
Great, I'm not making a motion. And I highly encourage us to update that slide while it gets posted to the website.
I'm not seconding that.
Are you getting like that, are we? We're not getting grouchy in our end of the day, but I was like, I didn't think we had anything to do on that. But no, any further questions or comments? There was no public comments on it. All right, thank you, Nancy. Well, I think we're now shifting over to the last few running pieces on this agenda. It's that time when I ask, and I usually get crickets, any opportunity for panel members to request agenda items for future panel meetings. Anyone want to request anything? Nope, we're quiet there. Now I'm going to turn it over. I do have a member of the public in the room, and he's getting up even before I even say it. So it's time for public comment, which is that opportunity to address the panel issues that are not scheduled on today's agenda. We can't act on the issues, but may refer to matters to staff for review and possible future panel action. Anyone online, or should we just let Phil go first?
There's no public comment online yet.
All right. You're between us and lunch. Do you realize that this is like a 99 commute for me and the airport traffic for these guys?
This should be super interesting. And I did leave my pen up here, so this is good. So hello, my name is Phil Pereira. This is important, so I'm going to actually read the written text here. I am the managing partner of our company, which provides CTP consulting services, mostly to life sciences and semiconductor industries. I also serve as the chairman of the Coalition for ETP and Jobs. Last year, we were all disappointed to learn that as part of the governor's early action agreement, $100 million was taken from the ETP Reserve Fund and redirected to pay interest on the state's federal unemployment insurance loans. An additional $50 million was later removed through the final budget agreement in June 2024, leaving the reserve fund completely depleted. In July 2024, I testified before this panel, expressed my concern about these actions, and pledged to advocate for the return of ETP funds for their intended purposes, upskilling workers, not covering unrelated state debt. Without a funded reserve, ETP leadership is constrained in managing annual contract encumbrances, balancing allocations among applicant groups, and lacks the flexibility and security a reserve or rainy day fund actually provides. I'm pleased to report that the administration's January 2025 budget included a proposal to return $50 million of the $150 million that had been taken from ETP's reserve. Thanks to the hard work of our contract lobbyists, Chris Bollinger, and a united advocacy effort amongst all of us, we successfully preserved the $50 million through the governor's May revision. And it was a wild ride to get through the May revise. The return of the $50 million will be finalized once the governor signs the 25-26 budget into law, and it's looking promising. Many thanks to ETP stakeholders, leadership, GoBiz, the labor agency, and others who recognize what we do. ETP is the most effective workforce training program in the nation, uniting labor, business, and government to help workers build careers and earn a livable wage. I'm excited about the future of ETP and its part in the governor's Jobs First economic blueprint. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
There are no further public comments.
Alrighty, then I think we are on, yep, no more public comment. We are going to, I'm going to ask, is there a motion to
Motion to adjourn.
Can we vote because we have to vote to finish? So can we vote, please?
Douglas Tracy.
Aye.
Jennifer Fothergill.
Aye.
Mike Hill.
Aye.
Gretchen Newsom. Rebecca Betancourt.
Aye.
Ricky Smiles.
Aye.
Mike Greenlee.
Aye.
Derek Kirk.
Stop it. Alrighty, I'm going to call this to adjourn at 1:19. All right. See you guys in July.